already know the drill. We back again with another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So strap on your seatbelts, cause it's all pedal to the metal from here. And without further ado, your amazing host, Drew, Billy.
Welcome back to another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys, here with your host, DB, host Trevor Dinsmore, and our special guest, one of the originators, co-host of this podcast, Nate Steis. How are we doing tonight, boys?
Doing great, DB. Glad to be back, and glad to join you guys after a little over a year of a hiatus for sure.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, Nate. It's good to have you back, and it's good to be back here on Tuesdays with all you fine folks. As always, I like this little reprieve from my normal life, which is currently tax work. So needless to say, this is a big old step up, and seeing Nate just makes it that much better. So looking forward to these next 2 hours together.
Again, 100th episode here. If you have us on social media, check out. We put a little collage together of all the episodes throughout the 3 years of this. As usual, I'll go through news. We got Trevor statements and news, and then later with debate time with me. But a lot of news coming out, boys. Actually, not a lot of news, Trevor. It was stale as shit.
Yeah, it was a dry week.
But Julio Jones announced his retirement Friday. 36-year-old last played for the Eagles, got his Super Bowl ring. Just want to see your guys' opinions on his career, and also if he's a Hall of Fame caliber player.
Take it away, Nate.
Yeah, he's first ballot in my book, first ballot Hall of Famer, all-world wide receiver, probably he's top 10. He might even be top 5, 7 for some people. He's probably top 7, 8 for me. Julio Jones was an absolute pleasure to watch for many years. It's kind of hard to believe he's 36 years old already. It seems like he became 36 years old, like with a snap of the fingers. The greatest wide receiver in Falcons history, him and Roddy White in that contention. It was weird to see him on other teams. I'll tell you that. You're going to forget about him on the Eagles, Buccaneers, and certainly going to forget him on the Titans. I think people forget that one quickly, and rightfully so, because if you're a wide receiver and you end up going to Tennessee, you wash up like nobody's business there. Join the club down there that washed up with the Randy Mosses and the Tyler Boyds and the DeAndre Hopkins of the world that washed up in Tennessee. But back to Julio Jones, first ballot Hall of Famer in my book. Incredible statistics. 10,000 yard receiver guy. I believe he's 100+ touchdown guy. He helped the Falcons get to the Super Bowl the one year. He won a Super Bowl with the Bucks, I believe. Played for the Eagles as well, tried to ring chase there again, and I can't blame him. At that point in your career, he's accomplished almost everything else that's almost possible for him. Definitely miss watching him this year, and happy for his retirement, and we'll see what he does next. We'll see if he gets into coaching or mentorship or whatever, but excited and happy for that guy. He's one of the greatest of all time. So pretty cool to have watched him the last 10 to 15 years, and see his progression from Alabama great to NFL great. So
yeah, you're not gonna like this, Nate, but he only had 66 touchdowns in his career, if you can believe that.
66.
He only had one season of 10+.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. The thing about Julio Jones is there was a period there where they just didn't target him in the red zone, and he just didn't get the ball down there nearly as much as he should have. I believe there's one season where he had 3 receiving touchdowns. And it's like, how can someone that size and with that God-given ability, and with probably a future Hall of Fame quarterback like Matt Ryan, only get 3 touchdowns in a season? I know Matt Ryan, he's another one that washed up very quickly, but Matt Ryan was an MVP. Yeah. He's probably a Hall of Famer himself. Great quarterback by all accounts. And I don't know why, but I felt like he was a 100 touchdown guy, but no, you're probably, thank you for correcting me on that. And
no,
it's like 100 touchdowns. A lot of long catches. I'll say that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. A lot of streaks down the field, a lot of 40-yard catches, just not a lot of them that made it into the end zone, unfortunately. Did have multiple seasons with Matt Ryan, 3 or less touchdowns, which is very, very astonishing considering his yardage totals. Once had an 1,871 yard season. That was in 2015, leading up to that Super Bowl that is now infamous for non-Falcons reasons. And then another season with Matt Ryan, 1,677 yards, just oodles of receptions, oodles of yards, big play threat all the time. Just weirdly, just couldn't find the end zone. That's about the only thing that he couldn't do, because I just remember him being athletic as hell and getting out to one of the most torrid stretches. Was at one point on pace with Jerry Rice early on in his career. Obviously couldn't keep that pace with the movement between teams, and obviously with him getting older. And as you say, washing up in Tennessee, similar to how quarterbacks are just washing up in Indianapolis now. Mm-hmm. But, still, I don't remember the last 4 years of Julio. I remember the first, whatever it was, 9 or 10, a 7-time Pro Bowler, all 2010s team, and a 2-time All-Pro. That's what I remember.
Yeah, no. He was a dog. But yeah, like Nate said and you said, Trevor, Falcons era, that's what I'm going to remember. Any other jersey, I don't recognize him in. So, but no, yeah. He was.
And until you said it, Billy, I totally forgot he was on that Eagles team. I don't mean, know. Happy he got a ring, but I totally escaped my mind that he was one of the guys on that team as well.
And I don't even know how many down. It didn't even say how many downs he played. I don't think he played.
He actually got the ring with the Buccaneers, I believe, and then he played on the Eagles. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Is that right?
Oh, 2 seasons. Yes, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yep. You are correct.
23.
You are correct. Yep.
Yeah.
But, he was part of he was part of that Eagles team that unfortunately collapsed. They started out fantastic, and then they kind of collapsed. I think they lost like 5 of their last 6, including their first round in the playoffs. And then it shaped up for changing their coordinators and obviously winning the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Yep. And he just missed out on that Tampa Bay Super Bowl. It was the year after they won it.
So he has no rings, which is a shame because
he has no rings.
Yeah, it kind of blends together for me. I knew he was there at about that time. I knew he played with Brady, which is just crazy because he played in his prime.
21 was the year he was in Tennessee and did nothing, basically.
Yeah, that was a waste. That was definitely a shame. But yeah, he was in that, Brady Buccaneers era, and he was also not in his prime there. So it was like weird to see like 2 of the GOATs like playing together and just it's just not being that impressive at that moment. I mean, they're still all worldly talents, but like Julio Jones is barely going to be remembered by the, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But to hold on for 404 days, boys, not to retire. He wanted to play still, it seems. It just no one was calling. It is what it is. Yeah. But switching over to Trey McBride, saw this yesterday. He said, what the hell is this? I know he's a good player, but a massive 4-year, $76 million extension. Biggest deal in NFL history for a tight end. Feelings on this? I don't watch. I mean, I know of him, but I don't really watch Cardinal games. They're not really entertaining to watch. Is he that effective that he deserves this contract? Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, his problem's the same problem Julio Jones had. The dude cannot get in the end zone. And the reason I know that so much is for probably about 20 weeks in a row, I would let Trevor know that about my displeasure of Trey McBride's lack thereof of getting into the end zone as my fantasy tight end. Because I've been telling Trevor for like 3 years that Trey McBride's the real deal. After I saw him,
Nate, I tell you, Nate, you always find a way to get him in a fantasy draft too. Somehow he just always falls to you, and you just take him. And I'm just like, of course, because Kelsey's gone, Andrews is gone. Who else is left? McBride. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Continue.
Yep, but yeah, he had two touchdowns before he finally got his first receiving touchdown. And I think it was literally in like week 16 or 17. You can check me on that. But his 2 touchdowns this season,
like second to last game, something like that. Yeah.
He actually set the NFL record and beat Deontay Johnson's record for most receptions in a season without without a receiving touchdown. He had 90-plus catches, no receiving touchdowns. However, he had 2 touchdowns. Before that, he had a fumble recovery in the end zone, and he had a rushing touchdown at the tight end position. So, yeah, so this dude was just out there. He was a top 3 fantasy tight end with 3 touchdowns in the whole season. Only one of them went for a receiving touchdown. That's his usage. He had that many catches. He had that many yards. And he's playing in a pretty good division. Like, the Seahawks are not bad. The Rams are obviously very good. And the 49ers are very good. So, like, his competition level was very good. And, he's been producing at a high level. And he also did miss a game. I think he had a concussion and he missed a game. So, that's another thing to say about him. But, yeah, it's a lot of it with these contracts, you guys, is the timing. Trey McBride just happened to get it at this time. And, the salary cap keeps going up, all that sort of stuff. So, like, it's just a timing. Is Trey McBride the best tight end in football? Probably not. He's top couple, though. He really is. And they got to the Cardinals got to lock up people when they can, because the Cardinals, if you guys can believe this, I saw this today. Kyler Murray's the longest tenured quarterback in the history of the Cardinals organization. So that shows you the instability of the Cardinals.
Believe that.
The Cardinals haven't won a championship since they were the Chicago Cardinals. And they have since moved and changed names about 3 or 4 times. Yeah. This was the first team in the NFL history, the Cardinals. So what I'm getting at is Trey McBride needed to be locked up. He's a great player. He's hopefully only going to get better. Yeah. But yeah, I think he goes under the radar because he is in Arizona and he's in a stacked division and he's in he's out there where inconsistent at best team, inconsistent at best owner. I mean, this is a team where the players have to go pay for their vending machine. They're the only team in the NFL. Players have to pay for what's in the vending machine. So, hopefully Trey McBride probably just paid himself a little bit, a couple sodas and a couple candy bars. That just went back into his pocket probably from the vending machine. But yeah, long-winded to say Trey McBride's excellent player. And, it was smart of the Cardinals to give him that contract, but it's going to be one of those things I expect where he won't be the highest paid tight end for very long. So.
Right. 111 catches last year, 72 yards a game. That tells you all you need to know about the volume this guy gets, how effective he is, and how much he's like Tyler Warren. I'd never realized that until I looked at his highlight film this past season. Has the rushing touchdown and can kind of fill in gadget roles whenever necessary, but obviously primarily known for his regular tight end work. But 100% deserving, and like you said, Nate, probably won't be the highest paid for long. I mean, we see how many times does it change? Oh, the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. Then 2 months later, Dak signs a contract. Then 2 months later, I don't know, Joe Burrow signs a contract. Then Trevor Lawrence signs a contract, and so on and so forth. So it's not going to go down, folks.
No, certainly not.
So you think to shift the market?
Yeah, it resets the market.
Okay.
And the thing is, the players union tells these guys, take that, take that or don't take that, and a lot, if it's higher than what anybody else has ever got paid, they're like, take it. In a second, they're like, take it, because they know all of them are then going to go command that, and their agents make them go command that as well. And that's exactly why we saw Jamar Chase, do what he did for a few months there, because he needed to go get paid more than Justin Jefferson. It's just the nature of the beast. And it doesn't just happen in football. If you guys remember this, Mike Conley was the highest paid NBA player at one point. It was only for one day, but he reset the market. And that's just part of this business at this point. It's kind of insane how much these guys get paid. But that's what the agents and the players union, that's what they're about. They're trying to get everybody their money. And I understand you only have, 10, 5, 10, 15, if you're very, very lucky, 20, 25 years for some of these crazy people to play in these leagues. So you got to go get your bag. You have to.
Yeah, no. But yeah, we wish him good luck. McBride, way to get your bag. Moving over here to Duval County. I'm not going to say it. Like
no. You said it wrong.
Go ahead.
You
go ahead.
Duval.
We're going to clip that. That was good. But anyways, Liam Cohen says they're aiming to revamp Trevor Lawrence's lower half mechanics ahead of the 2025 season. They don't want to mess around with his stroke, so his thrown motion. But they definitely want to work on his footwork mechanics because basically, in a nutshell, it's a mess. He's saying. So, any feeling on that's going to help him much, or are Trevor Lawrence already screwed?
Trevor Lawrence isn't screwed.
Okay.
The organization has not done that young man any favors. By all accounts, he's a great human being. He's a very talented athlete. He hasn't had the best luck with, obviously, his head coaches have been disastrous. And it's a shame that Doug Peterson didn't work out. Doug Peterson's a great coach. But Urban Meyer experiment was lousy at best. And the Cons, they seem like good guys. They really do, but they are not the greatest ownership in terms of making decisions. And it's difficult in Jacksonville. I understand. They're one of the expansion teams from the mid-90s. They sell out. They go 2 games over to London now every year, 1 or 2 games over there. So they have a weird split fan base. Cons an international tycoon, and I understand he's got obligations to fulfill to people that he promised, and that's his choice. But yeah, no, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is completely done yet, but it's certainly looking difficult at this point to rationale spending the amount of money that they spent on him at this exact moment. However, Jacksonville has made a lot of cuts this offseason to save a lot of money. So they really gotta put some people around him to help him out. But I don't know. It's interesting to see. Liam Cohen's a great coach. He's a really good coach. I know that he's a kind of a goofball, and people are going to have a weird impression of him from that introductory press conference. But need I remind you, Dan Campbell, we're going to bite a kneecap off. Goes to the NFC Championship game, completely turns around a fan base and organization that was almost completely dead. Like nobody talked about the Detroit Lions other than to make fun of them.
You just compared biting a kneecap off to Duval.
Well, no, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
If you can remember, the Eagles head coach, he sweated through his clothes. He couldn't speak, and this guy's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
won one of them. Yeah,
yeah. So Sirianni, and I'm not saying that he's those coaches. Liam Cohen's a smart coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have them more competitive. And I don't know how. Part of it's because their division's very lousy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he'll make some tweaks to help Trevor Lawrence. He's going to pour into Trevor Lawrence like those guys haven't poured into him. Urban Meyer is the way Urban Meyer is. He doesn't pour into people the same way that they needed in the NFL. Doug Peterson's an old school guy. He doesn't pour into people that way. Liam Cohen's kind of a new school coach with a new school offense. I think he's going to pour into Trevor Lawrence. And over the next year or two, they're going to try to build that back up again. And, with making some of the cuts to like Christian Kirk and, letting Evan Ingram go, they have some money here. So I think Trevor Lawrence has an opportunity. Will he take advantage of it? I hope so. I'm rooting for the guy. I have nothing against him. So, yeah, that's kind of my assessment. I think he's got the opportunity, and hopefully it works out for him.
Yeah. No, I
as a
just
result of that kind of that clearing as well. I see them as candidates to maybe trade out of that 5th spot and just get multiple picks and just get multiple guys and let's get going. Obviously, a lot of people have them mocked to take Mason Graham out of Michigan, and that would be a huge addition for them. They need defensive help, and they need defensive help in the worst way possible.
Yes.
But I could see them absolutely as candidates to maybe trade back and get multiple picks, and maybe Liam Cohen works his magic. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. On the Trevor Lawrence side of things, by no means is he screwed yet. People have screwed him so far. People have screwed him so far. And just the fact that Liam Cohen is coming out and saying, "Oh, we're going to work on his lower body mechanics," that just goes to prove what Nate just said, that he's going to pour into him, as you should your franchise quarterback.
Right. No, and I just remember, I think it was last year. Throughout last season, when the Jaguars owner came out, Nate, and just put tremendous pressure on it's Doug Peterson. He's like, we need to win now, and if we don't win now, change. It's like, all right, well, some of the system, you got to give it time. I mean, we had finger guns there before. Doug Peterson's a little better than that. I just think he wasn't given enough time. Hopefully Liam is. Because I think the players play better as they build a relationship with the coach. There's no trust there. Oh, this guy might be out next year. Yeah, it probably messes with you. But no, swinging over to another outstanding guy. Josh McDaniels is back with the New England Patriots at the offensive coordinator position. He spent his first year out of the NFL since 2000, last season, and now he's back in there. Do we see a refreshing side to the offense for the Patriots? I know they just signed Diggs, like me and Trevor talked about weeks ago. They got Drake May. Is it enough pieces for him to get over the hump here and maybe keep a job? Nate, Trevor.
Yeah, it'll take some time. But
Okay.
Josh McDaniels, I don't know what, it's like peanut butter and jelly. Josh McDaniels in the offensive coordinator position with the Patriots is like peanut butter and jelly. They're meant to be together. Anytime that man has gone anywhere else, he is cheated or lost or both. And was he 6-2 with the Broncos his first year, and then they caught him for cheating, and then they went 8-8. And they missed the playoffs. Yep. And I think the Chargers got in. Obviously went out to the Raiders. Terrible. Guys didn't like him. He was a micromanager. He was not a great leader. The players kind of picked at him. They kind of made fun of the guy, which is kind of insane.
In the media too.
Yeah, they went out in the media and they said it. They did it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
He was he's a tough nut to crack. He's an interesting individual. So yeah, I don't know though. He loves it in New England. He's with Mike Vrabel, who's a great coach, and they're familiar with each other. If you can remember, Vrabel played offense for Josh McDaniels. Yeah, I know it was in the red zone, but he still did play offense for him. So he kind of is familiar with
catches, something like that. Vrabel does.
Yeah, every ball he's ever caught was a touchdown. So pretty interesting there. But yeah, no, I think they're not gonna contend this year. It's obvious, but they're building something better. They have a fresh perspective. They finally kind of went. Well, they didn't go outside the organization, but they finally went with someone that I think can bring back the mentality that they were missing, and get them playing the right way. The talent disparity is not going to, make up for that. Right. At this point, but they're going in the right direction. I think it's very interesting to see him back there for what is this going to be his fourth time?
I think so.
Crazy. Yeah. So yeah, they're like peanut butter and jelly. That's just they go together, and life is better for him and truly the NFL when he's there because they win, and the Patriots are such a big fan base, and that appeases a lot of people. It doesn't appease me personally. I don't think it appeases either of you guys to see the Patriots win, but we have to acknowledge that the trueness of when the Patriots are good, like that. I think that elevates the NFL, unfortunately, but yeah, it'll take some time, but I think it'll help New England to have him back there.
Yeah.
Bobby Kraft is just going to be rolling in it in about 5 years, and they're going to have another 20-year run of, 6 Super Bowls. And I'm going to have gray hair before I'm 30 years old. But you couldn't have said it any better, Nate. Peanut butter and jelly, man. Yeah. He is the Nick Foles of coordinators. He works with one team. He's the Al Horford of coordinators. He fits with one team, and anywhere else that he goes, he stinks up the joint and then leaves.
Yep.
And I will say this in regards to him being a micromanager. Micromanagers can make fantastic coordinators, as you've seen with him. Yeah, and I think he will with Drake May, because like we talked about with Liam Cohen pouring into Trevor Lawrence, he's going to do the same thing with Drake May. He's just going to fixate everything around him, and he's going to pay attention to every little nitpicky detail of what Drake May is doing and how he's helping that franchise and what pieces they're putting around him, what the strategy is going to be, all that good stuff. As a result, I think, their offense will definitely be a little bit more competitive. They need a little bit more well-rounded of a team.
Yeah.
Getting Diggs was honestly a plus. Paid a little bit too much money for him, but again, that's the receiver market nowadays. Yeah, and really, I don't know how many better options you had other than you weren't going to swing Devontae. That was just the reality of the situation. So I guess Stephon Diggs, good number one. It'll be a good number one for Drake May, a good veteran to get in there. And as Billy talked about a couple weeks ago, apparently Stephon Diggs' mentality has changed to helping the organization rather than me want ball, me want ball, me want ball. And pissing off the likes of Josh Allen and CJ Stroud, wherever the hell else he goes. So we'll see if that's true. We'll see if that produces results, but optically looks good.
Yeah, no, they can ease up on the winning because I really don't want to see Kraft get wheeled in on his wheelchair in 5 years by his hoochies. So let's just, all right, we don't need, but no, Stephon, I don't know if you saw Nate, Stephon basically compared Drake May to a younger Josh Allen. So he's going in there with good graces.
Yeah, I mean, I did see that. He's got that opportunity. Like, it's hard to just say, like, this guy's going to be Josh Allen. Like, or this guy's going to be like Cam Newton. Like, they are built similarly. They are. They truly are. Drake May, he's got a cannon of an arm. Drake May is usually one of the best athletes on the field. You know, he's a great athlete all around. He can throw the ball a mile. He's faster than you think. He's a little bit more agile than people give him credit for. And he's a smart kid. He really is a smart kid. But yeah, it's a little early to compare those guys, but I see the playing style possibly being that way. However, I don't necessarily know if you want to encourage him to that extent, because Josh Allen, how recklessly that young man plays, is not something you necessarily want to encourage all the time. Somehow he gets away with it, but I'm just saying, I don't know how long you can withstand that. And look at Cam Newton. He couldn't withstand it for forever, and it was virtually overnight, and he was no longer very good at football. And I hope that doesn't happen for Josh Allen. I hope it doesn't happen for Drake May. I'm sad it happened for Cam Newton. I don't want that to happen to anybody. But yeah, I see the comparison, build and skill set wise. But yeah, we have to ease off a little bit on that and say, let's not put too much pressure on Drake May. Let's let Drake May be Drake May and continue to develop. And he showed some flashes last year, but please, for the love of Pete, get him a line. Protect the young guy. He got crushed back to him. It didn't help him at all. So.
And keep in mind, he's only 22 years old, I believe.
Yeah, 23 maybe. Yeah.
23. One of the youngest quarterbacks in that draft class. I think he was 21 when he got drafted.
Yeah, 22, 23, something like that. Yeah, he's in that range.
So he's 22, 23 now. So, yeah, give him some time. Be patient. He'll be good.
Yeah, he's a gunslinger. But switching over here, this is an interesting situation going on. So I don't know for sure if it was brought up at the table meeting last week with Buffalo, bringing this up from watching Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce's New Heights podcast. Great podcast. Don't catch every episode. But so on the podcast, Jason Kelce lays out that he found the tush push grueling. He didn't say dangerous, but Buffalo, I guess at table meeting or wherever, used what he said as an example because he was basically the president of the tush push at center, when he was playing for Philly. But now he's saying he doesn't feel it's a dangerous play, but they're using his grueling comment as a dig to use at the meeting there to try to get it banned. Opinions on this. People do listen to podcasts and I guess take away stuff and uses it against you. So noted.
Oh God! Well, if the Bills use what we're about to say in another meeting, good for them. I'll take my royalty.
I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah,
just boost the ego a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, do we think it's a dangerous play?
Yeah. Do I think it's a dangerous play? I think every play you play in the NFL is a dangerous play.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, do I love the nature of how kind of silly it is at the core? No, I don't. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to stop people sometimes getting 1 and 2 yards twice. You know what I mean? You have to be able to do it. And teams, I think, are trying to do that. The Chiefs tried to build it up, and they were successful once doing it. They did beat them, and then this time they lost. And other teams, have tried to get tougher up front just to do the same thing. The Lions are trying, and a few other teams are doing, similar things. But no, I don't love the play, but do I understand it? Absolutely. Like, you have freaking jobs on the line for this game. Like, you think Nick Sirianni cares? No. Like, he shouldn't care. He's coaching for his job. I mean, heck, they considered firing this guy 2 years ago after they collapsed. He's won like 80% of his games, and they thought about firing him because he lost like 5 out of 6. Sure, I understand it was a bad end, but no, like that's the preciousness of coaching in general, no matter what sport at this level. You can't not go for those things. And credit to the Eagles ownership and management and coaching. They've all put it together. They've built a great plan. They know how to run this tush push to perfection. They have a great quarterback that runs it to perfection. They have people on offense that understand this might take away from a couple yards that I want. This might take away from a couple catches, but this is about winning football games. When we win football games, we all eat. We all get remembered. And that's what they've said that. And they all get paid handsomely anyways. Most of them, So is it dangerous play? Yeah, it is. Every play is dangerous. But it's part of the game. Like, this is part of the game. And, people are going to get hurt every single time. They know the risks. They've been playing this game long enough to understand that. It's not the sexiest play, but I hope it doesn't go anywhere. Like, they should be allowed to do that stuff. I stand behind it. Stop them. This is a game where it's won in the trenches, and that doesn't get talked about enough. We can talk about the Stephon Diggses, and we can talk about the Drake Mays, and we can talk about the Josh Allens, but really, we got to talk about the Jalen Carters, and we got to talk about the Aiden Hutchinsons, and we got to talk about people like that dig into the dirt and push it. And Jason Kelsey's on the other side. We have to talk about those guys because they win and lose people games. They win and lose people jobs. And that doesn't get talked about enough. We talk about the skill players far too much, in my opinion. And I think that's just the nature of the tush push. I hope it doesn't go anywhere, but we'll see. They've gotten rid of plenty of other things.
Yeah. I mean, just to get rid of a play because it works primarily for the Eagles, right? They make it 98% of the time, whatever it is. Yeah. But look at when the Bills do it. Look at when the Chiefs do it. Look at when any other team tries to pull this play off and they don't have the studs that the Eagles have on the offensive line, and they don't have a 6'5", 250-pound beast of a quarterback in the backfield taking the snap and driving forward. I mean, there's a reason that this play works. When Jalen Hurts can squat however many pounds it is when he did at Oklahoma, I think like 600, 500, 600 pounds, 600, whatever it was, 600 pounds. And you expect to stop that guy? You expect him to stop? You expect to stop him on a regular quarterback sneak, and let alone the perfected quarterback sneak? Yeah, good luck. But guess what? It doesn't work for everybody. It just doesn't. If you're gonna ban a play, ban kickoffs. Kickoffs are boring anyway. Right. It's. And now they're starting at the 35, and I get that they're trying to make that part of the game, and that's a good thing. But when you go after banning plays, that's interesting. And I know there's the caveat where you can't push a defensive player to gain momentum, so the offense is the same thing. That's how they're kind of justifying things right now. I still don't like it. I still. Based off of one team having an enormous amount of success because of the talent that's on the field. Perfecting this play, you're going to outlaw it. Yeah. It doesn't sit well with me.
So to me, just to jump in, it's like them banning the dunk with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, he was 7'2". Well, they acted like nobody else who was 7'2" was ever going to come along. Hello? Yeah. He's not the only person who's 7'2". Right. What was the difference? He dropped the ball in, or his hand physically hit the rim. Yep. What was the difference? His whole arm was above the stinking rim, regardless if he touched the freaking metal or he didn't touch the metal. Mm-hmm. Every team has the same opportunity to do that play, just like you said. Mm-hmm. Some of them do it to perfection. The Brady fall forward, really great success. They'd been doing it for 20 years in New England. And they were even slightly less successful than Philadelphia. But it's because of the horses up front. Build your team in the trenches. That's what you have to do. Quit overspending on guys that can't create their own offense. Quit spending it on wide receivers all the time, constantly. Who gets them the ball? The quarterback. If the quarterback can't even step back to throw, it doesn't stinking matter. If the running back can't run the ball, it doesn't stinking matter.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in your line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, just before we get over the 5 things I want them to add, or was thrown out there that they should add, I'll say this. So Tomlin, our leader, I don't know if you guys saw this. He's comparing it to his issue with the field goal. So defensive guys can't jump over, can't really dive over, the line on the field goal. He's comparing that to the tush push. That's his argument.
Well, you can't touch an offensive player like the long snapper. You basically can't touch.
That's what his issue is. It's if we're going to outlaw that, then let's outlaw this. That's his issue with. Which, can they reinstate that rule that they have now? Can they just eliminate that? I don't think that's even on the table.
No. Well, I mean, it's easier to pass one rule through for, I guess, well, it's weird that it's like an anti-offensive rule.
Correct.
Which is very rare in football nowadays.
Yeah. And I think everybody, and to Philly fans, and actually all fans, I think everybody's just pissed off. They can't stop it. So we need to eliminate it. And they went back to old school. Both their lines, if you watch the Super Bowl, their defensive line were all dogs, giant humans. Offensive line, giant humans. They just sweat. Their scheming's better. You can't hate someone for knowing what the hell they're doing. And I remember talking
Nolan Smith too. My God.
Yeah. But I remember us 3 talking about that 2 years ago. Sirianni's out the door. The fans hate him. Yeah. And they won a Super Bowl. So, like, what? Yeah. What do you want? But Philly fans, Eagles fans are the most.
Oh,
we talked about it. 2 games in, they lose. Go 0-2. Trevor, get this guy out of here. He's garbage. Even though he just won you a Super Bowl, they're going to go for his head. It's just I don't know.
I would expect nothing less from Philly fans.
They did it to Peterson
about that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, switching over here, just 5 things I think they should add. I'll go through them and then whatever you guys agree on here. Goal line sensor technology. So there's no more bullshit. They have like a sensor in the ball, know where the ball is on the field. Helmet concussion sensors. They can do it. There's technology. What's the other one? Additional helmet cameras and communication. So if it looks like a violent hit, I mean, they're small enough cameras. They could put it in the face mask, see, the impact. And then what was the other one? I got 2 more. Implement the Sky Judge. Enough of the ref bullshit. And then AI-assisted officiating, which I know some people are going to get antsy about because they hate AI and they think it's going to take over the world and brainwash our brains. But your feelings on those 5 things?
Yeah. From my perspective, all of them are great additions. Here's why they should be doing this goal line and field marking technology in the NFL. And I'll say this right now. European soccer has been using this for many years. If soccer can use it in Europe, then it's good enough for the NFL, in my opinion. It helps them get it right. They also, in some of the leagues, wear a vest underneath their jersey, and that helps them with the offsides. So that they can tell, and it can be a quick review because the sensors tell where your body parts are on the field. So, like, even if you're a hair offsides in soccer, you're offsides. But before that wasn't getting caught. So now it is. And it's the truest, most natural outcome of the game. There's no, subjectivity. The subjectivity is being taken out of it. And yeah, I understand some people don't like that. But I think it's important to get it right. When we have the technology to get it right. And you're absolutely right about the helmet stuff, Drew. I like that because it's like, I don't know, some of these guys are tough. They've probably even played through concussions before, maybe, which is unfortunate if they did, but it would be helpful for player safety in that regard. They do have a pretty strict policy, and obviously we saw the Dolphins get in big trouble with that with Tua a couple years ago, and rightfully so. That was very awful. But yeah, all those sound like positive changes. I would really love them to have those the field assists more with the AI. Yes. I think that speeds up the game. I think it's important for them to get it right. And honestly, if it could get to a point where we don't even have the red challenge flags anymore, or very, very seldom. But yeah, I think it's important to get these calls right. You know, it's unfortunate to say this, but people got money on these games. You know, people got a lot of stuff on these games. The players are playing for their contracts. The coaches are coaching for either their next job or their current position. You know, and I think it's important to get it right. Yeah, I understand some of the purity of the game will be taken out of it, but I mean, gosh, there were calls missed left and right. I mean, I know, sure, everybody thinks it favored the Chiefs, and probably it did. I think some of those were questionable, but yeah, there's been plenty of games where that stuff has been wrong, like the Saints. What was it? The Saints game a few years ago in the playoffs where they didn't call the pass interference. That was pretty terrible. That probably should have been corrected. The Bills spot this year that was, I think, a first down that was called not one. You know, it's important to get that stuff right. And yeah, I like all those additions. I don't think it really takes away. The only thing is, if they implement some of the stuff, it's got to be quick, you know, and you got to be able to do this replay assist quick. You got to be able to do this goal line technology quick. Don't drag it out, because what we saw this year in the March Madness tournament with these replays, they were so freaking slow. I mean, goodness gracious. Tell the ref
3 minutes at a time. It was
ref Florida last night got another timeout because of an out of bounds for free. They got to save a timeout. They pretty much had 3 because of the review, and then they got 2 timeouts after that. And I'm not mad about it, because I won money and I won a bracket challenge for the first time in my life. But I'm saying, objectively, that was probably wrong. That was probably wrong to do that. So you got to, if you're going to do it right. And if you're going to do it fast. You have to have people ready to make the call quick. And this isn't about getting 90,000 commercials in. It's about speeding the game up a little bit and getting it right.
He's so right. Sorry, you're Trevor. What are you?
No, I can't disagree with any of that. Like, particularly with the March Madness stuff.
Yeah.
Even in the early round games are just dragging on and on and on and on and on because of these replay reviews. And yeah, I'd like to see that eliminated. I'd like to see the game. I'd like to see the game go by a little bit quicker. It helps me just kind of stay in tune with the game rather than watching all these plays, and then all of a sudden Doritos, Mountain Dew, Walmart is on in front of my screen distracting me. Then I go and look at my phone. I get out of the game. I do. I get out of the game for a minute, and once it comes back, I have to readjust. Like, okay, what's the situation? Because I'm a guy that likes to watch and analyze the game. I know you are too, Nate. Billy, you are to an extent as well.
Yeah.
I like to break things down, and when my mind's firing, it's firing, and it stops firing when these replay reviews take 20 freaking minutes.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we need. God, how long has soccer had that motion sensor technology, especially with like spots and stuff? It's probably been a couple decades, like, right?
It hasn't been a couple decades. It's probably been close to a decade.
Close to a decade.
Every league does not have it, but some of them do, and it's very important, and it's really made the outcomes more true, which is what I think and respect about it the most.
Yeah.
No, good. Yeah. Get it in the NFL as soon as you can, and properly train the people that are using this to use it, and take them through game situations, take them through real life scenarios, test this out in the preseason, just so you can screw up then when nobody gives a shit. Once you get it to the regular season, make sure you're utilizing it properly, utilizing it efficiently and effectively. Yeah. So make sure you're training people on this stuff too. It's not just implementing it. You got to make sure you got the right people in place to use it and make it useful.
And I've said this to Trevor and a couple other people, like, they should have this technology from soccer. It's one thing that they have.
Correct. Oh yeah. You've been advocating for this for about half a decade, at least.
Yeah. Yep. They need to do it. So I'm glad you brought that up, Drew. It's important, and I would love to see them do it.
Yeah, no. And just 2 thoughts before our last topic, before Trevor's news and segments. I'll say this: integrity of the game, do it. Why the hell not? And second off, why not have? There has to be a little chip that you can put in a helmet, so these guys aren't alienated with those ugly behemoth pads that eliminate 20%. Okay, well, if the other guy's not wearing it, what the hell? I forget what the percentage was. It doesn't really help. Like, put that in there I don't know.
Like everyone needs to wear it for it to be effective.
Yeah. Just put a chip in there. If he gets his shit rocked, okay, you need to go to the blue tent. It jarred this, But but last topic here. Jackson Dart of Ole Miss QB was hosted on a pre-draft visit Friday to the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is still up in the air. Our feelings on Jackson Dart going to the Steelers?
Go ahead, Trevor.
You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess I've advocated for as long as I can remember in talking about the 2026 draft class. I'd rather take a Nussmeier. I'd rather take an Arch Manning. I'd rather take one of those guys than any quarterback that's in this class, and that includes the potential first overall pick in Cam Ward. To me, these quarterbacks in this year's draft, they're all crapshoots. If you roll a 6, great, but to me, it just feels like we might Kenny Pickett ourselves again.
That's what I was thinking of, Trevor.
When did we select Kenny Pickett? 20th overall. Where are we this year? 21st.
Right.
Dart had a crap ton of success under Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Stats out the wazoo. Uber athletic quarterback that can throw the ball really well and is pretty good football IQ in a top quality conference. Will that translate to NFL success? Yet to be seen. We've seen guys better than him crap out sooner. I don't think this is the year to draft a quarterback. I say you just ride it. You either ride it out with Mason Rudolph, or you get the Rodgers in here, and he can do rain dances in front of Acrisure Stadium with his body painted, and we can all go 8. We can all go 9-8 the same. And I'd rather just take a guy next year.
Right.
I don't know, but I'm not the Steelers, and the Steelers are going to make their own decisions. Omar Khan's going to do what he's going to do, and if he likes Jackson Dart, he's going to go after him. And if who else visited today, Shedeur.
Mm-hmm.
If they like Shedeur, and Shedeur falls out of the top 10, fill in the blank as you will, Steelers fans. We'll see what the hell happens. You know how Omar Khan is.
I'm going to let Nate go, but I have a comment for the Shedeur, but we'll.
Yeah. But just Shedeur or my little. That wasn't as good as the Duval. I know. I get it.
That's all right. Yeah.
Well, from where I sit, it doesn't matter who plays quarterback from the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. And it might not matter in 2026. Until their trenches are better, it won't matter. I've been saying that for the last 4 years. Their trenches are not good enough. Their offensive line is getting better. I'm not hating. It's getting better. It is significantly better than what it was in 2020 and 2021. They've built it through a little bit through free agency. They built it through the draft. They got people in the right positions. They let Tennessee overspend on Dan Moore, and we finally don't have Dan Moore.
4 years, 82. Christ's sake.
Yeah, they can have him for that. They can stinking have him for that. You can have Dan Moore. Less is more. That is how I feel. However,
less was more when he was with the Steelers.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if we have Jackson Dart or Shedeur or, heck, Jalen Milroe's been thrown around in some of these projections. It doesn't
what's his name
matter.
From Louisville? That Chuck.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like you guys said, we're going 9-8 the same. We play in perhaps the toughest division in football, maybe probably second. The NFC North is take your stinking pick next year. Who the heck's going to win that? That's
speed.
They might have all 4 teams in there. They're going to be nasty on paper.
No,
anyway.
not the Giants. Probably not the Giants.
NFC
North.
NFC North.
East. Excuse me.
Yeah, NFC North. Yeah.
Bears. Oh, Bears are off-season champions again. You might be right.
Yeah, NFC North could be very, very good. AFC North, very good football. The Browns, the Browns probably aren't that good, but They're good for an upset. They play pretty tough. Stefanski's a great coach. He just doesn't have the horses either. Tomlin, great coach. He doesn't have the horses. I don't care what anybody says. We don't have the guys to win right now. We need to build up this team at the line of scrimmage and get back to doing and playing the way Steelers play and the way Mike Tomlin wants to play. Right now, Mike Tomlin is the world's greatest motivator. Well, I'm great, lovely. Well, he could motivate the Ridgeway Rockets to go 9-8. That's how good of a motivator he is.
Yeah,
but it's only going to get you to 9-8. When there's a talent disparity, there's a talent disparity, and we have to get more talented. Jackson Dart would probably make us a more talented football team, sure, but when he's sitting on his back, that isn't going to be talent anymore. It's going to be deceased. He's going to be not there to do anything. So get the line right, and keep building it up. Our running back room is weird. It's also weird. We let Nod Jeans go, which is fine. He, especially for almost $10 million a year, let him go, sure. But we don't have we have no power back right now. We have old man Patterson. He's going to be gone, thankfully. So we don't have a power back right now. We have guys that are tough up the middle for small guys, but we don't have a power back. In the AFC North, I don't think that's going to withstand itself. You need someone that's able to take those, take a beating, truly. But yeah, we're not talented enough. So Jackson Dart, would he be okay with us? I mean, I don't think he's Kenny Pickett bad. That was the weirdest pick I've ever remembered. That was blatant enough. If we got Jackson Dart, I'd feel better about that than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I was a little bit out of line in comparing him to Kenny. Pickett,
but I agree with you.
Kenny Pickett is literally going to be dog shit. He's playing for the dog pound. So
we knew Kenny Pickett was awful. We knew he was awful. I just watched the games. I watched him in person.
One flash in the pan season.
Yeah. So Jackson Dart could marginally help the Pittsburgh Steelers. Marginally. If they they develop the line with him, maybe. But I feel more comfortable going with Mason Rudolph going 9-8. And honestly, goodness, I know it's an unpopular opinion. If Aaron Rodgers comes and he's a one-year guy, I'm honestly more comfortable with that. Because but if you're going to do this with Aaron Rodgers and you're going to do it with Mason Rudolph, whatever, you have to commit this draft to building the line. You can't just say, we're going to win now with Aaron Rodgers for a year. No, build it.
Yeah.
Build the line. Commit to something. Build the defensive.
Lot of good tackles and guards. A lot of good defensive tackles and defensive ends and all that.
It's mostly our interior. Our interior defensive middle is the worst right now. That needs help. Right. And
if you've been watching, Nate, you'll like this. I have them taking that Nolan out of Ole Miss.
Good. Build it up. I'm not saying we need to be the Los Angeles Angels in 2021 and take 20 pitchers with 20 draft picks. I'm not saying that. But take a chance with 5 of them or 4 of them. We have some of these picks. We have a decent amount of picks. Pick some guys. See if we can develop anything. You need some depth there. Why do you think the Eagles have won? They have depth. Why have the Chiefs won before that? They have depth. They had guys a couple years ago. People didn't even know who Allegretti was when he was on the Chiefs. He came in right at the end of the regular season, and then he got a huge payday after playing 6 stinking games.
Right.
Starts with the line. I stand with it.
Yeah. No, just ending point. We're at a weird, maybe this is old man mentality, but when I think of a Steelers quarterback, I don't think of controversy. Yes, Ben had his struggles, and people like to remind me all the time.
Early on,
but he didn't taunt. He didn't really talk shit. There's not a lot of going on except the motorcycle and the legend. And then you go think back to Terry. Terry just couldn't get along with Noel. But what I saw, and we've talked about Trevor Rodgers, this controversy fucking guy. We're going to give the keys to the offense. It just seemed not like a Rooney move. That's all. This guy literally talks about caterpillars turning into butterflies when he's high on peyote. That's the guy. That's the guy we want. I don't know. I just had to say that. And Shadur, there's so much fucking bullshit No offense to him. He's a great athlete, but we've been down this road. And I'm not going to say his name, but we've been down. We don't need that. So, but that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. I think it's Cam Ward and everybody else. Cam Ward, I think, is going to be great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he's the first pick. You don't throw for that many yards. I know it was the ACC, but you don't throw for that many yards and stink. You don't. It's like when people were critical of Patrick Mahomes. The dude threw for 5,200 yards in 12 games. Like, I don't know why people were so critical of him.
It's insane. In the Big 12, but still, yeah.
Still, they don't just place the ball in your hand. Like, you still have to make the throws.
Yep.
You know, you still have to have guys that get open enough. You still have to make tight throws in tight windows. You still have to avoid pressure. Cam Ward did all those things. And Cam Ward has gone from, no star, no scholarship guy to Heisman runner-up.
Right.
So good for him. I think it's just tough to go to Cleveland, but I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be good. We'll see if they ruin him if he goes there, but yeah.
Shit. It's sad.
It is sad.
But anyways, that's all I have. We'll go over. I'll be back later with debate time, and we'll go over to Trevor's segment and news.
Yeah, we're gonna start right in with Dinsy's draft dissertation, and yes, I have the coat. It's right here.
Gotcha. Okay. Right up here. All right.
Yeah. Yep. You gave me more time to get the code on. Thank you.
I did. I extended it today. Dincy.
I appreciate it.
But Dincy's draft dissertation with Trevor.
Yeah. Welcome to this week's edition of Dinsy's draft dissertation. This week we're going to be covering cornerbacks and safeties, and I've got let's see, 1, 2, 3. I got 5 picks here for you gentlemen that are going to go in the first round, and I'm guessing which one. I'm guessing you guys know which one we're going to start with here. So let me cue up the noise. Give me 1 second here. There we go. If we were any bigger, we'd probably get sued for that. But, we're good here. With the 3rd overall pick, the New York Giants will select Travis Hunter, cornerback / wide receiver out of Colorado. And before I get into the quality of this player, I want to get into the hardware he took in last year. Just last year, obviously the Heisman Trophy, AP College Football Player of the Year, won the Biletnikoff Award, which is a receiver award, the Bednarik Award, which is a defender's award, the Lott Impact Trophy, impact standing for integrity, maturity, performance, academics, community, and tenacity. So involved in his community academically, all that good stuff. Walter Camp Player of the Year Award, Paul Horning Award for the most versatile player, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, first team All Big 12 wide receiver and quarterback, first team Associated Press All-American All-Purpose, second team wide receiver. If that doesn't tell you enough, which it should, obviously, he's getting comparisons to the likes of like Neon Dion and those sort of guys. But I want to throw out 2 current guys that are still in the league, Devonta Smith and Darius Slay. It comes to those guys. What I'm more curious from you guys on is if he's going to play more wide receiver, more cornerback, how the Giants are going to use him if they do, in fact, take him at the 3rd overall pick, and, how much of a stud this guy's going to be. Obviously, he's got all the tools, right? Sometimes just a little bit overzealous, but has the speed, has the physicality, can cover the deep ball, runs like a bandit, all that good stuff. Take it away, gentlemen. How's Travis Hunter going to do in the NFL?
I think he's going to be primarily a corner.
Okay.
And the reason I think so, he's going to play wide receiver too. I think he will.
Sure. You got to sprinkle him in. Yeah.
There's such a rare breed of people in the entire history of the universe that can play cornerback or safety in the NFL. And Travis Hunter is one of them. Wide receivers, I hate to say this, wide receivers, there's more guys that can play wide receiver than corner. There is. It's a mentality. It's an athleticism perspective. It's, timing, various things. There's wide receivers that got elevated because of their quarterback play. There's wide receivers that got elevated because of their running ability. Deebo Samuel comes to mind. He's a better football player because he can run the football as a running back sometimes. And there's, people that are better blockers and they do better at wide receiver because they're better blockers and things of that nature. You don't hide at corner. You can't. Unless they literally, the only way you hide is if they don't throw the ball in your direction. Oh, great. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. So,
which means you're probably that damn good anyway. So
means you're that stinking good. So I think he's going to be a big time corner who is used in, I think he can be used in the return game. And I think he's going to be, used in obviously some gadget plays, but I think he's going to be used, in the slot in the NFL, 20, 25 plays a game. And he'll make plays at wide receiver. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to know Travis Hunter more as a corner in his NFL career. And I think he should explore playing that primarily and then being used a little bit as a wrinkle. But I don't think you can withstand 130 plays in the NFL. I don't think he can. Yeah. I hope he does. I'm not hating. I'm not. I just don't think you can, especially for years to come. Like maybe you can do it for 2 years and then you can tell us the story from a rocking chair because you're going to be retired at 24 years old because your body's shot. I hope I'm wrong. I want to see him succeed. I think he's a fantastic talent. We haven't seen anybody like him in ever. He's one of very few, maybe one of one. We'll see how he does in the NFL, but certainly in college, one of one. So yeah, I think he's better off primarily being used at corner, sprinkle him in at wide receiver, gadget plays, 5 wide receiver set, 4 wide receiver set, and then use him in the return game. That's just my opinion. And, we'll see what they do and we'll see if the Giants do select him.
Yeah. No, I'm going to have to go with Nate, Trevor, cornerback. But I can't remember. I can't remember what he said in his interview that he wanted to play a certain position.
Oh, he wants to play both full time.
I think that's what
it's
set on it.
So, I don't know. There's going to be definitely, they do it right, load management, but we'll see. But cornerback, just watching his highlights today. Yeah, guy's a freak. If he doesn't go, he's going to go in the top 3 all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only real criticism that he has is he didn't face premier competition, didn't have a lot of high leverage games playing in the Big 12 with Colorado. Obviously, they had that 4-8 season in 2023. Still, Shedeur and Travis were studs, absolutely, but not a whole lot around them. Had a little bit more around them this year. Would they win 9 games, I believe, and their bowl game, if I recall correctly? Maybe 9 or 10 games. I can't remember exactly. But long story short, more success this year than they had last year, and that's due in large part to who I project to be the number 3 overall pick. And honestly, I would not blame the Browns for selecting him either.
No, I wouldn't blame any team for selecting him.
No, I mean, the only reason he's not going to go first overall, it seemingly now, is Cam Ward.
Yeah. I have to say this too. If you watch Shedeur's highlights, it's all Travis. That's the only guy he was thrown to.
Yeah.
If you just think about that too. So
who else was on that team?
Yeah, right. But if you look at every big play, the receiving end, it's going into Travis's hands. So I don't know. He's a freak of nature. Yeah.
Gotcha. Anyway, moving on to the next pick I have in this week's edition of Dinsy's Draft Dissertation. I struggle with these envelopes more than I do the jackets.
You do great.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With the 11th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers will select Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. And Mr. Will Johnson has a very good reputation coming out of the University of Michigan, was the national championship defensive MVP when Michigan won that title in 2023. Third team All-American in 2024, followed that up pretty nicely. Very coveted traits, not a whole lot of downside with him. I think he's a very safe pick for the 49ers at this spot, getting comps to a guy that just got a record-setting deal by the name of J.C. Horn of the Panthers. So you throw his name in with the likes of Will Johnson, I think that makes for a pretty solid pick for the 49ers, a very heady pick for a John Lynch run organization. And yeah, he's graded at a 6.5 prospect grade, meaning boom bust potential. So I'll just pop the question out there for you guys. Boom or bust more likely for Will Johnson?
It's really tough with corners. You'd like
very
to
much,
think
very much.
You'd like to think boom, because he's with an organization with the 49ers that have really done a nice job investing in their youth and then plugging the guys that they've gotten with trades and free agency. And obviously Christian McCaffrey, when he's healthy, he's an incredible football player. They plug him right in and he was great. And yeah, sure, the offense was made for him and Shanahan was kind of destined to be his coach, but Christian McCaffrey fits in there. Javon Hargrave, when they got him, he fit in perfectly. He got a huge deal to go there, and he's done fantastic. He did fantastic when he was there. I'm going to say this: I think he's going to boom, but he could just as easily bust. But I'm going to say he's going to boom, and the reason is they need secondary help. So he's going to have
in the worst way. Yes,
he's going to have to boom if they have any sort of success. I will say having Robert Saleh back as the 49ers defensive coordinator, that will certainly play into his success as well. He's done a great job with developing young players. But with the departures of, Talona Hufunga, I don't know if I said that right. It's Troy Polamalu's nephew. He went to the Broncos. He was a safety.
Hufanga.
Hufanga. And then Charvarius Ward went to the Colts. He had to get out of California. He lost his baby. I understand that. Felt terrible for that guy. Obviously heartbroken to this day. But he's a huge loss as well. And, they got to have people to cover back there. You have to be able to cover against Matthew Stafford, who now has Devontae Adams. You're going to have to be able to cover, against Kyler Murray with, Trey McBride and, a few other of those wide receivers out there, Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, you got to be able to cover these guys. So he's got to boom. They need him to boom.
Will knows how to cover him. So, I would hope, maybe.
Yes, maybe. Certainly does.
I'd have to look at the
seen him a few times. Yeah, seen him a few times. Needs to boom. I'm going to go with boom. He's played in a great system. Lots of turmoil there in Michigan the last couple of years, but he's been a staple. Showed up in some of these big games. Go into a good organization. I'm gonna say boom.
Yeah, I'll go boom. Didn't catch a lot of Michigan. Just really watch Penn State games if I'm gonna watch college. But I'll say this: some of his film, Trevor, he's scrappy. He's physical.
Oh yeah,
he's a little bit like Joey Porter. A little bit. He's okay to get in there and get a little tussy. Yeah, a little tussy in there.
He's as physical. He's about as physical as Joey Porter with a lot less penalties.
Yes.
Yeah, hard to have.
Which I know, not a high bar. I know, but still.
But he knows how much he can get away with. I think that's the best way to explain.
Oh, right, yeah.
He doesn't over exaggerate whatever the hell he's trying to do. Either he's not punching a guy in the face mask though, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
No, but I'll go boom.
And, no, I got you. I'm leaning towards bust. I think if anything, I think he's going to be a pretty good starter when it's all said and done. Make a couple Pro Bowls, maybe not all world, but if I had to lead one way or the other, probably bust. And I will say that because he was dealing with turf toe last season. I know that's a big concern, and I know that seems to be one that's very tough for a lot of guys to get over. They have to kind of change their playing style a little bit. They have to change what they do on the field fundamentally, and I don't know. I trust that Will Johnson can get over that and be a very good, like I said, very good starter for the 49ers. But if I had to lean one way, that's my main concern.
And I know treatments changed, but that retired Lambert. Totally forgot about that.
Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a lot more treatable nowadays, but it's still, it just seems like a nagging thing for a lot of guys. And
one other thing too I want to bring up. It's really hard to do boom or bust with safeties and corners because
100%.
The shelf life is a big part of that too. the shelf life of these corners these days. I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're similar to running backs. These guys are out of the league quick. Some of them, you know what I mean? Like they're out quick. If you want to be an old cornerback, you join the Pittsburgh Steelers. That seems to be the mentality. They're building a retirement home in Pittsburgh to accommodate all the defensive secondary players that are over the age of 32 that they've had in the last 10 years alone. And it's going to be a pretty big facility because they keep signing them.
Yeah. Good point.
Put Pat Pete right at the top of that list.
Holy shit.
We're going to put Darius Slay in there. He's got
Darius Slay in there. How old's Fitzpatrick? He's approaching 30, isn't he?
He's getting there. 30? And he's owed a lot of money, and thank goodness he restructured some of his contract because it was very necessary.
Best deal I've ever seen them have, though, in the modern era. How we got him?
I would argue that.
Yep.
I would argue that.
He felt third-round pick. Okay.
Yeah. I'd say trading Chase Claypool for those picks was probably the other one.
Yeah.
Claypool.
Yeah. Claypool.
Worst jersey buy ever.
No.
It's not even close.
He's a
Notre Dame guy.
Though.
Notre Dame guy. Yes. I should have got the Notre Dame, not the state again.
Had all the talent in the world.
He's still in the league. He's still in the league. He just didn't play last year. He was hurt. And he's a top 10, top 15.
He's still Miami.
No, he's Buffalo last year, but he was
Buffalo
hurt.
Now? Oh, Buffalo.
Yeah. Okay. Top 15 most handsome guy in the NFL according to polls. So he's got that
great Canadian too.
Great. The big maple.
Yes,
Mapletron.
Yeah.
Moving on, I got the Bengals pick next.
They need it.
Oh my God, you're not kidding, my friend. So at the 17th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals will select Jahdae Barron, a cornerback out of Texas. I wrote down Michigan, but I wrote down Texas on my Excel sheet, and I know Texas is correct because I've seen this guy's film, and I will say he is a stud. Prototypical nickel corner you'd want, getting comparisons to one Patrick Surtain II, who just won Defensive Player of the Year, by the way. Graded at a 6.4, 5'11", 194, so an ideal size for a nickel corner that you would want. First team All-American and All-SEC in 2024. Won the Peach Bowl Defensive MVP. Fourth in the FBS. He had 4 picks and 11 pass breakups in 2024, so has the ball production, that is for sure. Very physical to receivers, can play either zone or man pretty well. Does have more exposure to zone than to man, so sometimes might struggle against slot receivers, has to get some experience in that area, but also has short arms. I guess that's a concern for cornerbacks, can't be quite as handsy with big physical receivers. But like I said, still getting comparisons to Patrick Surtain is pretty high compliments. And obviously this guy has the ball production to be a successful NFL nickel corner. And the Bengals need it in the worst way. So what do we think? Bengals taking Jahdae Barron at 17.
Well, they need to take secondary help in the worst way. So they're obligated to take the kid, or somebody like him. I wish anybody who goes to the Bengals to play defense nothing but the best at this point, because good luck. They are a lost cause. And the thing is, I don't even know. You won't even know if the kid's bad or if the Bengals are just that bad on that side of the ball. You don't know. You have no idea. I'm going to say bust because that organization just failed.
Oh, you didn't have to do boom bust this one, but yeah.
What's that?
The boom bust was just for Will Johnson. Because he was graded at boom bust. You don't have to do boom bust for all these guys. You can just say, is this guy going to be a stud, like Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer? Is he going to be a bust? You can kind of go anywhere in between. Yeah,
I'll say like middle of the road to bust because the Bengals just don't develop these guys. They don't do a very good job. They've gotten lucky in a couple drafts, and lucky as heck to get Burrow and Higgins and Chase. And I don't even know if Burrow isn't there, do they even pick Chase? I don't know. Like, I think he had to vouch for that and say, please, like, we need one more guy. But yeah, their defense is a mess. They were awful last year. They cost them football games. If you go there, you got to be part of the solution. So I'm going to say like middle of the road to bust though, just because it's so hard to go there and be successful. They turn over players quick. They're a very year-to-year team. They have unbelievable talent on paper. Zach Taylor's a decent coach. Their ownership is awful. Their division's brutal. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough to be successful there. It's also really tough to be a nickel corner, and it's such an important position. So
it is. Very few can do it very well. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to lean towards middle of the road to bust just because the Bengals just don't help themselves and they don't help develop these kids. So that's why I'm taking that. Rooting for them. Nothing against them. Great pedigree to come
for
from.
All these guys. Yeah.
Great pedigree to come from. Texas, great program. They are back, by the way. Sam Ellinger, you were premature, but they are back now.
It was 4 or 5 years early, but
yeah. Steve Sarkisian, you've done a phenomenal job there, and college football is better with Texas being good. I don't care what anybody says, but this kid, I think it's going to be a tough go if he goes to Cincinnati. Just they don't have a lot of talent over there, and
point.
They're going to ask him to do a lot. So
I got to agree with. Well, just. He's a good player, Trevor, but you'll see that they're good in college, and then they go to they just don't fit the schematics, analytics of the team. But the ownership, I'm just gonna say this as a young player going on that side of the ball after what the owner said in regards to Hendrickson's deal. That's a hard sell. I understand you want to live out your dream.
That's very valid. Yes.
I mean, there's no commitment there. I mean, everybody on that, if the guy literally put your defense on the map, as shitty as it was, and you spit in his face, there's no loyalty. That's what it tells me.
This guy is known to be the cheapest owner in football. He was the last guy. He was the last guy to have an indoor practice facility. Every other team had one. And they had to go to the Super Bowl to say, well, now we got the extra money, so now we can do it. It's like, bro, get another investor then. Yeah. Get another investor.
Not to interrupt you, Nate. Where do you put him top whatever worst owners in the NFL right now?
Oh, I mean, he's in the NFL? Oh, yeah. Bottom three.
Bottom three.
Gotta be. Bottom three.
Tepper.
Tepper's probably the worst. Tepper's really bad.
Tepper's bad.
It's his mentality. Nobody tells me what to do. So yeah, it would be him, and then I'd say Brown is probably second, and then Kahn's probably third. And it's not that Kahn is a bad guy. I don't think. Yeah. Like I don't think he's winning.
Bad decision maker. Bad, not a good football guy. Like should be running a multinational corporation, not an NFL team.
Right, and that's what he did before. That's what he did.
Right,
he was a billionaire. Like I believe it was automotive manufacturing tycoon making parts for, those things. Very smart, really smart guy. I don't think he's citizen of the year, but I don't think he's the worst guy in the world or anything. He's probably there, and then Jerry Jones is probably the other guy in the mix. And it's not because he doesn't care. It's because he's old, he's lost his touch, and he doesn't let anybody tell him what to do. And it's more so that he's a bad general manager than he's a bad owner. That's what I think. You have to kind of walk the fine line. I don't think he's a bad owner. Maybe I think he's more of a bad general manager at this point. He just doesn't quite understand it. So that's why he wouldn't be in my bottom three, but he'd probably be on the cusp of that sort of thing. Probably the Cardinals owner. Would probably be on there as well, just because they've been inconsistent and things of that nature. I think those would probably be my bottom five. So I will say this, and you guys aren't going to like this. Art Rooney 2 is not a great owner.
He's loose.
Yeah. It's a fair assessment.
He is a good guy. Great guy. Their family's fantastic. I have nothing bad to say there.
Yeah.
I don't think he really is equipped to do this. They flat out made the Kenny Pickett decision because his old man said, I screwed up with Dan Marino. So if there's ever another good quarterback from Pitt, we're taking him. Well, you can't run it like that. You can't do that stuff. Yeah. You can't. I mean, goodness gracious. You can't run an organization like that. your loyalty, I love it, and it's important to be loyal in life. It really is. But you become insane when you become married to people, in a transactional business. You become insane when you have your mind premeditated on something for 40 years. I mean, 40 years, that was Kenny Pickett in the making. 40 years between Dan Marino and Kenny Pickett. He had his mind made up. Well, he's a good quarterback. They won the ACC championship. They won the bowl game.
Went to Pitt.
Picking him. He went to Pitt. He's perfect for the city. He's already here. Pick him. No. He's not the greatest owner in terms of like schematic.
Yeah.
He says the politically correct thing all the time. Great, whatever. It doesn't really bother me, but he always just has these cryptic messages, and I just don't think he like forecasts stuff very well. If you want to take any of the football decisions out of it, great owner, but he shouldn't really be involved in any of that stuff. So I think his leadership is very interesting at this moment. We have a little bit of turmoil with Tomlin. We have a little bit of turmoil. I wouldn't say Omar Khan, but maybe in maybe a year or two, we might have to reevaluate that as well if it continues to go like this.
Yeah.
So Art Rooney isn't going to get talked about a lot, but someone we got to literally look at a little bit, and say, football stuff hasn't been doing a great job in the last decade in terms of letting his guys, in terms of leadership. Right. So just a hot take, I think.
No. But I know I agree with you, Nate. But to go back to the Bengals, that owner's asshole's so tight, he can't shit diarrhea. Okay. Like he don't want to do the right thing. He is so set in his ways.
Yep.
And just go back to the draft pick. I feel bad for the kid. I hope he lives out his dream, but God, get out of there in 4 years if it's still the same thing.
Yeah. Ask for a trade.
But they're probably fifth year him, and then it's whatever. It's whatever. What's the next draft pick?
Okay. I got it. I had to literally log back into my phone here.
Yeah. Hey, that was good though. We needed to be addressed.
I guess we needed to vent about the Bengals and the rest of the AFC North. And yeah. Well, we're going to talk about another team in the AFC North here real quick.
Oh, my favorite team.
It's those Ratbirds, brother.
Love them.
At the 27th overall pick in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. A curveball for you. The Ravens will select Nick Imenwuri, a safety out of South Carolina, to complement one Kyle Hamilton in the back of that wonderful secondary that the Ravens have right now. Mm-hmm. But Mr. Imenwuri getting comparisons to Jeremy Chin, who is now on the Raiders, one of their offseason pickups. I think it was, did they pick him up last year, Nate? Is that right?
Ooh, I can't remember. It kind of blends together.
No, I hear you. But anyway, this guy's 6'3", 220, ideal size for a safety, good ball production while at South Carolina, first team All-American and All-SEC in 2024, led the team with 88 tackles, also had 4 picks to go along with that, so good ball production. Described, and this is per NFL.com, as a physical specimen with rare size and versatility. And just looking at his film, makes a lot of sense. Looking at his metrics, makes a lot of sense. A great edge setter, good against the run as well, and a good versatile safety, ball hawk type of a safety. Does lack some urgency in the duration of games, might struggle to play a full 60 minutes in the NFL. We'll see how that goes. And does give a little bit too much ground to blockers at the second level. So needs to, rectify those pursuit angles, coachable things for sure. But Nick Imenwuri to the Ravens. What do we think of this pick?
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens produce defensive greatness. There's no denying that. They've plugged in a lot of guys over the years from the draft, free agents. They need to continue to build that. No question. With some guys that are growing in their careers and some veteran presence on that side of the ball. I think he can fit in well. He's got to be physical, though. That's the way the Ravens play. They're a physical football team, both sides. Needs to be able to stop the run, no doubt. Needs to be able to get downhill and stop people, and needs to be able to deliver some big hits. So if they have a guy that does that, he can be very successful. I'm not going to make any sort of projections or anything about him, but sure. They don't miss much. They really don't miss much. I mean, gosh, people thought they were going to miss on like somebody like, and I know this isn't defense, but like Lamar Jackson. People are like, "Oh, you're nuts." They didn't miss. They didn't miss. You know,
his 32nd pick, was he not?
Yeah, 32nd pick, last guy in the first round. And here we go. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a multiple-time MVP. You know, I know he hasn't had the greatest postseason success quite yet, but amazing talent. They don't miss very often, so I don't think the Ravens will miss. If they pick him, I'm sure they'll plug him in there and he'll be ready to go. He might work his way into starting, or be a special teams guy and then get more reps as the season goes on. Similar to what Cooper DeJean did this year. Kind of got inserted as a starter after a few weeks and played great. But yeah, the Ravens don't miss very much, so I'm sure if they pick a guy, they have a plan for him. And Harbaugh is a great coach, as much as it pains me to say that. That's a good football. It's a good football team. It's physical. So if he plays physical football, he'll probably be successful.
Yeah. There's like a mold they like to cast every time they draft somebody. So this guy fits right in there. He's physical. Yeah. Hope he doesn't talk too much shit, because then I'll yell about him at the screen. But yeah,
I didn't do my research into that.
Yeah.
But I didn't uncover anything.
He's probably a great guy. Maybe some characteristic issues if he goes to the Ravens. Just joking. But no, it fits the mold. That's what they like. Ever since Ed Reed, they like those hard-hitting, take no shit mentality. So yeah, that fits good.
Yeah, and I understand some people might be saying, "Oh, this is like another Kyle Hamilton."
Yeah.
I would want another Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
Chippy, man. Chippy.
Yeah. Very chippy. And I know the Ravens, you might be thinking they might go with a corner. What's his name out of Ole Miss? Trey Amos. A lot of people mocking him to go here. To me, like you said, Billy, and like you alluded to, Nate, it's just a fit. It's like a perfect fit. It's fitting a square peg into a square hole. It works. Yep. Ravens like hard-hitting safeties on the back end. Do they need corner help? Yeah. But I don't know. Safeties can help compensate with that. And when you get a talent with the physical, with the physique and the physical aspects of Nick Emenwari, along with the ball production he had, to me, if he falls that far, I mean, a lot of people have him mocking out of the first round even, but I don't know. To me, he's like a top 20 prospect physically. He's just a menace.
Yeah.
But anyway, Billy, is Taylor watching the program? Do we know?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see if she comments.
Okay. Okay. You might have to get a hold of her for this one. Maybe call her up to your room, because the Bills pick is up next.
Okay.
Another team that kind of, they need some defensive help. With the 30th overall pick in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills will select Azareeh Thomas, a cornerback out of Florida State. And yes, I know, Florida State 2-10. But I will say, if there was any bright spot about that season, it was Azareeh Thomas. Prototypical corner, 6'2", 197, great against man coverage, very physical against press, getting comparisons to Joey Porter Jr. And, the flags are a concern. The flags are a concern. Sometimes gets a little bit too physical, doesn't have that makeup speed on streak routes and things of that nature, but very good hand fighter. And to me, this is what the Bills need in a cornerback. After, the likes of Tre'Davious White gone away not too long ago. I know Jordan Poyer's a safety, but, they need secondary help. And I think this is the best option, maybe other than maybe a Trey Amos. I've seen Trey Amos mocked here as well. But I think Azareeh Thomas, more of a prototypical fit for the Bills.
Yeah, that Bills secondary has been gutted the last 2 years. Micah Hyde, Damar Hamlin, Jordan Poyer, good Tre'Davious White. They're all gone. It's crazy. Like, that team was feared in the secondary, and now they're like, where is everybody?
Right.
Shout out to Damar Hamlin. He had a great year last year. I didn't even really know he was as good as he was. He's
Right.
a good guy, and so glad that he's doing so much better. But I didn't even think DeMar Hamlin was as good as he was, and you end up getting a big deal out there to go somewhere else. And they got to replace him. They really do. But yeah, if you want to be a cornerback, you go to Florida State. So he did that right. So
That's right.
I don't know though. It's very interesting. The Bills, they give up. They sometimes can give up a lot of points, but they score a lot of points too. Their offense is pretty insane.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. They really haven't had to develop their own corners that much. They've kind of had their own guys a lot of the time. I guess that you can say they developed DeMar Hamlin a little bit, but that's a big question mark for me. I will say this about Buffalo just in general. They really are confident about running it back with the guys that they have. They didn't really go get that many players. They just signed all the guys that they have to like massive extensions. Yep. You know what I mean? They signed Rizzo for a big deal. They signed Josh Allen for a bigger deal. They re-signed the slot receiver. Why am I blanking on his name? Khalil Shakir to a big deal. And rightfully so. He's a great player, and all those guys I listed are fantastic players. James Cook wants $15 million a year. So we'll see if that happens. I don't think it will. I think he's a great player, but I think he's probably more worth
if he has a good season this.
Yeah, I think he's probably worth about 11, 12, not 15. But that's just me. If he has another good year, you might have to pay him. It'll be interesting to see if they select him, how he'll do. Bills defense known to be injured a lot, especially in the linebacker and secondary. So I'm going to say I don't think it's going to be great. Like it just
no. You don't like the pick?
No. I think they need to go line. I think it's still not right.
O line or D line?
Either. They can't get over the Chiefs. The Chiefs are always more physical than them.
Yeah.
They
I have seen the likes of like a Skeleton or like a Walter Nolan if he falls this far mocked to the Bills. I've seen that as well. I don't know. To me, the secondary being gutted, like you said, it just stood out to me, and I think it's going to be a bit of a knee-jerk pick.
Yeah,
because we thought that's what the Bills did last year, and it ended up kind of working out. But I don't know. Bean just seems like a knee-jerk. Like we need this, let's get it, rather than maybe the best available, which is my thoughts on this. And as far as Thomas goes, it has good film, but it's more known for his pass deflections than anything. Doesn't turn the ball over a lot.
Yeah.
I think he maybe had like 4 or 5 picks throughout the duration of his career. Much more of like a pure pass deflection cover corner rather than a playmaker.
Yeah. Well, that's not the end of the world because Joey Porter Jr., I don't even know if he picked off a pass at Penn State. He couldn't catch a ball.
Right. No, he didn't have one his senior year. I know that.
Yeah, he didn't catch a stinking interception at all. He had so many opportunities, but you're knocking it down. So I guess it's not the end of the world, but you do want guys that can create the turnover and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But no, you're totally right. It's probably their biggest need. Their secondary's been gutted. But I think they also had an offensive lineman retire, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe their center. So.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost Von Miller. You got
Yep.
Joey Bosa, so that fits in there.
Yep.
But they you're probably right. They need to get tougher in the trenches, but you got to have somebody that can cover anybody at the same time. You can't just you can't be the Bengals, or good luck with that.
Right.
Mitch Morris. The center.
The more I'm talking about it, maybe Trey Amos might be a better fit. He's a little bit more of a playmaker, had a little bit more high leverage spots, especially in his last year role at Ole Miss too. So, I don't know.
Just to throw it in here, Trevor.
It's my initial thoughts. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Drew. Sorry.
Secondary, it's a need. We don't want a Knight Taylor back there though. They need a guy that's so. I kind of thought of him when you were going through his thing. But I'll tell you this, their right tackle, and I think it's their left guard, those guys need to be toned the fuck down. So many times they're doing fights after the play. That's Spencer Brown. I don't know how many Bills games you guys caught. We have to watch him here. I don't enjoy him.
Playoff games late season. I caught him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the line's an issue, not because of the play, just their attitude. Like, there was times they got 2 to 3 10-yard penalties because the guy can't shut his mouth. Like, so
Right.
I could see the line being an issue, but secondary, yeah, after Poyer and Hyde left at the same time, I don't know how the hell they did what they did last year. I mean, 2 juggernauts. Oh, and Tre'Davious. Actually, 3. 3 of them won.
Yeah. Well, it's because they ran the ball. It's because they ran the football better.
Controlled
they didn't
it.
have the
Yep.
defense on the field all the time. And you also
Right.
forgot it. Was it Milano? He was hurt most of the year again too. The dude's
always
always hurt. He's a freaking great player.
Yeah.
But he's always consistently hurt.
Right shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just can't stay healthy. So
Right.
yeah, they need depth on that side of the ball too. But they just keep sacrificing depth for re-signing these guys to big contracts. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like Josh could even acknowledge it. I could take him more, but I want to win. But still, dude, you probably could take him less. And you know, and Shakir probably could take in a little bit less. And
I was shocked by that.
Probably could have taken marginally less.
Yeah.
And,
That number, I was shocked by, Nate. That was
yeah,
pretty high.
it was huge. It was huge.
Yeah, right.
And that's why these other teams like that. That's why like Mahomes has won, because he backloaded his contract and they run it back and they take some risks on 1-year guys that are cheap, you know. And the Bills have done that a little bit better in recent years, but ultimately they're owned by the Chiefs, and that's the only team that beats them. That's it, you know. Yeah, other teams have been lucky and beat them, but the Chiefs own them.
Chiefs and the Zebras, but you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a team. It's yeah,
that team's undefeated.
They might as well be on the Chiefs at this rate.
Yeah.
The last couple of years.
Wear red stripes instead of black ones.
Oh man.
Yeah, I swear to God, man. But
anyway,
that was all I had for as far as draft picks go. A couple other guys I did want to draw your attention to, and of course, I talked about Trey Amos a little bit. Definitely go check out him as well. Benjamin Morrison, I know he was hurt quite a bit for Notre Dame in his senior year, but 6'0", 193, a prototypical like versatile corner, can play zone and man. Does sometimes lack attention a little bit, but I think he has NFL talent. Comparison to Andrew Booth Jr. Of the Cowboys, so pretty good comparison there, I would say. And speaking of another good comparison, a guy out of East Carolina, of all schools, the 9th overall corner in this year's draft, 54 ranked prospect, which might be the highest in East Carolina history. I don't know.
Chris Johnson would like a word.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. But anyway, Siobhan Revel Jr., very good cover corner, getting comparisons to Sauce Gardner. I would say, that's pretty much his ceiling, and that's kind of his playing style. Shut down, cover corner, man on man, press coverage. That's his style of play right there. Yeah. And a couple other guys that I don't necessarily love their game, but I love their names. I love the names that come out of these schools. Upton Stout out of Western Kentucky, another nickel corner, and Robert Longerbeam out of Rutgers. He's the 284th prospect overall.
Longerbeam,
B-E-A-M. Longerbeam.
That guy got some shit in school, but all right, keep it moving.
He probably got a lot of compliments. I'll just say that much. Then on the safety side, Malachi Starks and Xavier Watts, two very talented high leverage players, played in a lot of high leverage games. Obviously, Malachi Starks with Georgia won a national. What did they win? 2 national championships. National championships. Thank you. Xavier Watts played in a national championship. Unfortunately, did lose to The Ohio State University, but still very consistent. Both very good playmakers there. Always find themselves around the ball. A couple other guys from Penn State, Kevin Winston Jr. From Penn State, and Jalen Reed. I think Winston has a little bit higher of a ceiling than Jalen Reed does. Jalen Reed's intangibles, to my understanding, are a little bit lacking. Sometimes finds himself in the wrong place on the field, but when he is in the right place, very talented, can hunt down the ball. And another guy a lot of people are looking at, Billy Bowman Jr. Out of Oklahoma, 5'10", 192. Plays with a good fluidity and getting comparisons to Cam Taylor-Britt of the Cincinnati Bengals, who I will say somewhat of a bright spot on that Bengals team, though he's might be another one of those that moves on pretty quickly.
Stats. Whatever. Keep it. Whatever.
Okay.
But the first guy you said from Penn State, Trevor,
Winston.
I believe he plays a lot like Joey, right?
Yeah,
physical guy. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, get it. You got more of a comparison to another physical safety, Lewis Cine of the Eagles.
He kind of got the first assignment, I felt, in most plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Then, side note, Malik Hooker is compared to Xavier Watts. Just tossing that out there for my Notre Dame boy.
Malik Hooker. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty good comparison there. But anyway, that is it for this week's edition of Dinsy's Draft Dissertation. I'm getting hot in the second.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to what's more likely. And please give me time to take off the jacket. It is sweaty.
You're good. Here.
Okay, 2 arms at once. That's what I got to do. I tried one arm, then one arm. That didn't work. 2 arms at once. Got it.
Okay, gotcha. What's more likely with Trevor? I got to get a voiceover. I'm working on that, man.
No, you're good. 29 freaking degrees in Pittsburgh. I had to turn my heat up, and now I'm sweating my balls off.
Yeah.
But that's how she goes. And since it is the 100th episode of Buckle Up with the Boys, do want to take some time to, we'll reflect later. But now I want to look forward to the future a little bit. Yeah. More likely where Buckle Up with the Boys ends up in 5 years. 5 years down the road. So I'm looking a little bit, typically in your professional career, you look at a 5-year plan. Where are we going to be in 5 years? Well, I'm going to be 32. I know that. But where's Buckle Up with the Boys going to be? Are we going to be right where we are now? Are we going to blow the internet up? Or are we going to have like a strong following, say around 100K? What's the most likely scenario out of those 3?
I'd love to do this full time. I told you that. That's the truth.
No, I would ideally, yes. Pat McAfee is my spirit animal.
That's the goal. I think that's Joe Rogan. Those guys are the 2 leaderships of the
Rogan's a little too political for me, but yes. Yeah.
Theo Von's sneaking in there. I won't go any further with that because some people get a little antsy. But no, I hope 5 years we're grown and we have Nate back and we go to places. I'm excited for the draft next year. There's already people asking if we're going to be down there. We're working that out. Me and Trevor will work it out. But no, it's just been a hell of a. I told Nate this when I started it, and I think I told you, Trevor. It's I just want to talk to people that I never got to talk to. It was more kind of like and make sure to check out what Nate does too. Stories on athletes. It was to reach out to guys that
Western PA Sports Blog. Check it out.
Yeah. But talk to guys I never got to talk to that I looked up to or wanted to acknowledge them. But and then we started talking football and got you 2 brainiacs in here, and I'm learning more about football every time I talk to you. So I'm learning with the viewers. It's fun. Yeah. But that's where I see it, the show. Yeah.
Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to be devil's advocate, it's really tough to do a podcast. It's a saturated industry. It got saturated very fast.
Yeah.
A lot of people have them. A lot of people listen to them. There's also an acknowledgement of there's a high burnout in this profession. People start them and stop them, consistently. I had one for about a year and I I couldn't do it anymore. And honestly, like coming on here, it just isn't for me. I don't necessarily love the camera. I love to be behind it. For your guys' sake, whatever happens, I just hope you're having fun with it 5 years from now. Hopefully you are still doing it, whatever else happens. Hopefully you're making money. Hopefully you have thousands of people that watch it. I root for you guys and hope for you guys. And I really hope that all materializes and definitely happens. But yeah, honestly, the most important thing though is, just the camaraderie that you have to talk sports every week or just about every week for that matter. And have a little bit of a following, even a little bit of a following is better than no following. And you guys definitely have, pretty decent fandom out there, and a lot of people know about it and stuff, which is good. Yeah, hopefully you're just having fun with it. Even if it still remains a hobby forever, at least hopefully you have fun with it. And, it's something that you guys enjoy. And whatever else happens from there is gravy. So that's my hope for you guys. And, definitely always rooting for you, and just glad to be back on today. It was fun to be on for about a year, but just with the other ventures that I have, it's a capacity thing. I got to be able to, make a living and not burn myself out and run myself into the ground. So I had to cut something out. That's all it was. So yeah, always rooting for you guys and hoping for the best. And yeah, I hope 5 years from now, this is a different conversation, but yeah, just had to play a little bit of devil's advocate and also acknowledge that, hopefully you guys still love it 5 years from now. So
yeah. I'd like to get to 100K. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I'll tell you.
You get a little thing from YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
5 years, I think that could happen.
Just not be long-winded too. I'll tell you this. It sucked. Just for everybody out there, it sucked in the beginning. Before I got Nate, I got to give a shout out to Eric and Josh too. But I felt like I was talking to myself, and through Nate, and I don't like to ass kiss, and I know Trevor doesn't like when I ass kiss. I don't know if Nate does either. But with you guys,
it's sappy. Jeez.
I look forward to it. Like there's something to look forward to, and bullshit, and learn and communicate, and people enjoy, our opinions. Yeah, we're not Mel Kiper. I told Trevor I personally like his dissertation more because I think it's accurate. Kiper's
I don't have the hair
right. And I'm actually learning.
I don't have nearly enough hair gel to be Mel Kiper.
I know, but I'm just saying. I think we're more personable, and that's why I enjoy talking with you guys. And you rejuvenated me. I was burned out, but then when it was just us three, I enjoyed that. It was good. And then Trevor's sticking it out with me with all my blow-ups and whatever comes out of this mouth. I've been trying to control it, Nate. I don't know.
You've been getting better. You've been getting a lot better.
Not F this every sentence. But let's move on. Yeah. You're good.
Yeah. Let's get off the sappy stuff here
for
a second. Talk more on the draft.
Yeah.
More likely draft scenario in the top 10. Somehow Shedeur Sanders falls and the Raiders pick him, or the Jags pick anyone other than Mason Graham.
Say that one more time.
The Jags pick anyone other than Mason Graham, or Shedeur Sanders somehow falls to 6 and gets drafted by the Raiders.
Yeah. Shedeur is not going to the Raiders, I don't believe. I think they're set with Geno Smith. They're going to at least do it 1 year with him. And
they signed him to an extension too, I believe.
Yeah, they signed him for a 2-year extension worth a lot of money. I mean, it was almost $90 million. They gave him a lot of money. Right. I'm sure they have an opt out after 1 year if he stinks, and rightfully so with the loaded 2026 draft for quarterbacks by all accounts. So yeah, I'd say Shedeur is going to get pushed. He's one of the most interesting quarterback prospects that we've ever seen. We acknowledge that his athleticism is through the roof. We acknowledge he throws a beautiful deep ball. We also acknowledge that he holds on to the football for way too long. He played in a weak conference. He did not always play very well, and had some turnover issues at times, especially this year. But he also has the Sanders mentality. Like, You know, he can make some plays and then look like an idiot at other times, but he still is a Sanders. So we don't know. You know, he really had a lot of check downs and a lot of deep balls. He didn't throw the ball in between that often.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a very interesting prospect. I think he's going to fall. I do. I really do. He also comes with the baggage probably. You know, some teams don't want to deal with having Dion and everything be about Dion and Shador. And even if Shador's not playing, they'll cover Shador because he's Deion Sanders' son. It's just like Bronny James. You know, they cover Bronny James because he's LeBron's son. Bronny James, there's nothing wrong with the kid, but he gets covered beyond belief just because he's LeBron's son, you know? And honestly, I think Bryce might end up being better just because nobody says a word about the kid, you know, and he goes under the radar because everybody's focused on Bronny. But yeah, I think Shador is gonna slide. So the other one's more likely Mason Graham getting picked, I think, by the Jags.
Oh, the Jags picking anyone other than Mason
Graham. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I'll take that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with the Jaguars too, Trevor. Shador, forget exactly what he said. He's the greatest prospect in the draft. He said something.
Yeah.
He got to say
something Sandersy.
Yeah, just off-putting to me. It probably turned off a lot of old men out there that own these teams. So I'll go with the Jaguars.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like you kind of have to believe that stuff if you are a top 30 prospect, top 40 prospect. You kind of have to have that mentality. I get it's one thing to have the mentality, but it's another thing to have the mentality and then say it too.
Yes.
No.
Right.
So
say it in front of the whole world.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily like or dislike Shador. I kind of have, you know, bits where I'm like, I think I like this kid, and I have bits where I'm like, maybe that was a little off-putting, but I don't really know. I hope he succeeds. I hope he does, but it's going to be very interesting to see where he lands. I think we could see a Brady Quinn and Aaron Rodgers type fall for him potentially. Like I think it's possible that we see him go that far. Yeah. He could be waiting a little bit. I think it's potentially happening that he falls a little bit.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I'm with the Jags picking anyone other than Mason Graham as well. Shador, if the Raiders draft Shador Sanders, I don't put it out of the realm of possibility given their history, but there's a new sheriff in town and his name is Thomas Brady. I don't think he's going to go for that.
No, God rest his soul. If Al was still alive, he would draft Shador.
He probably
would.
Not going to piss off Raiders.
A lot of people would have probably if Brady wasn't running the show over there, a lot of people probably would have mocked Shador to the Raiders because they do need a quarterback. They need somebody to throw the ball, but they might put that off for another year. More likely rookie to have a bigger impact on their team's success in 2025. Ashton Jeanty or Tyler Warren?
I'll say Ashton Jeanty just because his usage will be higher. It's a lot easier to have that impact. That's where I think Ashton Jeanty's probably going to go to the Raiders. That seems very likely. They were the worst rushing team last year. That seems to be the
consensus, yes.
Yeah. And McCormick's a good back. He played great when he finally got an opportunity to get off the practice squad. But
he got hurt at the end of the season. He got hurt.
Yes, he did. Thanks for reminding me because he was one of my little stash guys, and that I of course plugged in, and then he got hurt for me. I think McCormick is a great player, and he's going to run his tail off. But like Ashton Jeanty's like one of the better running back prospects we've ever seen, truthfully, especially in recent memory. So. Yeah, I think it's going to be him. But Tyler Warren, if he gets in the right place, he could make an immediate impact himself. But you got to, like I said earlier, guys, like you got to have somebody to get you the football as a tight end. And there's a lot of teams that just don't even throw to the tight end. So if he goes to a team that says, well, we need a tight end presence, and then all of a sudden they just kind of cast him aside, he's done. So I'm going to go Jeanty. But I'll say this. If he goes to the Raiders, they better freaking block because they didn't block really darn last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're a rough football team when 31-year-old Amir Abdullah was one of your best running back success stories of the season.
Yeah.
Like you know you had a bad year.
Great.
Yeah. You knew you had a bad
year. Just FYI, Nate, I think I have Warren going to the Colts.
Yeah, that could be an interesting fit. It's a team that
it's a need, and given the volume he had at Penn State, you could just constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they have Josh Downs, they have Alec Pierce, who are coming on strong, but I don't know. And well, they're still trying to figure out the quarterback situation there, but I think Tyler Warren can help mend a lot of that.
Yeah, he certainly would help.
I'll go Genty, and the only reason Trevor's, like Nate said, we saw Kyle Pitts, one of the best. The Falcons just don't use him. I'm just worried about that.
I get that. It is a usage thing because a lot of people worried about that with Sam Laporta. What's going to happen to him if he goes to the wrong place? Lo and behold, he goes to the team that targets the tight end like the most in the NFL, in the Detroit Lions.
Right.
So,
and even how we are with Muth, we abuse Muth. We don't use him enough. Just want to throw that out there with passing.
I know. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. To be devil's advocate, I'll say Tyler Warren. I think he has similar production that he did at Penn State. Well, scaled, but he's proven that he can kind of play anywhere too. He can kind of be a plug and play type of a guy. So that'll be interesting to see how he fits within an offense, an NFL offense with that as well. But anyway, most likely sports record to be broken. Obviously, we saw Alexander Ovechkin, the grade 8, broke Wayne Gretzky's goals record the other night against the Islanders, one of Wayne Gretzky's former teams, by the way. Made quite a few jokes at the ceremony right after he scored the goal, which was kind of. I really thought he was going to say something about the assists. I really did, but no, honored the grade 8 for the great accomplishment that he so rightly deserves. There is no greater guy that was born to shoot pucks into a net than the grade 8. And that's solidified now. That guy was born to do one thing, and that is to shoot a little rubber disc into a nylon net. And he has 895 of those as we speak. It might even be more. I wrote this down last night. But the grade 8's goals record, or Joey Chestnut's record for most hot dogs eaten at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. 76 in 2021, by the way.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Figured I'd take one out of left field from you.
Wow, that's a really good pull.
How far Crosby? How far is Crosby from Ovechkin?
Oh, at his current pace, Crosby would have to play until like 2033.
Yeah.
The only guy that has a realistic chance right now, and that's if he keeps his pace, is Austin Matthews.
Yeah. Yep. Even McDavid would have to play another like almost 20 years at his current pace because McDavid's a big assist guy.
He's like Wayne, big assist guy. Yeah.
Yes.
Same with Crosby, big assist guys. Whereas Ovi just stands at the left point and just fires at the net.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, you got that.
Making me think with this one.
You got that one fellow that rivaled Chestnut.
Kobayashi.
Yeah.
Oh, Kobayashi.
Yeah. He has since wiped off Kobayashi from the map. Like back when those guys were dueling, like Chestnut eats like 10 or 15 more dogs than when those guys were dueling. Like he is just
right.
Yeah.
I have to go Chestnut.
Chestnut?
There'll be some freak out there.
Yep. I agree with you, DB. The reason why is the math. Here's why. The math. Think about it. There's 30 NHL teams. There's only X amount of guys over X amount of time.
32
I think
now, 32.
There's 300 or what is there, 8 billion people on Earth, and there's only going to be like 400, 500 guys a year in the NHL. And you have to have like 5 soldiers that are just scoring out the wazoo for 20 to 25 years to have a shot. So, for Ovi to have the production he did in his mid to late 30s is insane. Like not many people do that. So I'm going to go with Joey Chestnut's record. I don't know if we'll see it broken in a while, but I think that might be broken before the goal record for sure. Just because of the sheer volume of human beings there are to play competitive eating versus competitive hockey. So, Yeah, the math there, and I'm not a big math guy, so I don't know what you think. I don't know what you think, Trevor, but you got to see my point.
No, I know. I understand the math is mathing, and I'm an accountant, so that's verified. I want to see when Gretzky got the goal record from Gordie Howe, because if I recall correctly, 1994. So we had 31, almost damn near 31 years. Gretzky set the goals record March 20th, 1994.
Jesus.
Or excuse me, March 23rd, 1994. Yeah. So we had that much time in between the goals record getting set, just based off of that alone, and the way competitive eating's kind of growing, and somebody's going to have to take out the GOAT at some point, right? I mean, records are made to be broken. It's going to be a while, like you both said. It might be 20 years before both of these are even a remote possibility.
Yeah. Right.
But I kind of have to side with you both. Like,
there's definitely
I literally watched OV live. I watched that live. I watched him set the goals record. I'm like, I'm never going to see this again.
Yeah.
Until I'm like in my 60s or 70s, probably.
Yeah. And you still might not. I mean, seriously.
Right. Yeah. That record might last until the sun burns out. So I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. The other thing is too, we might see Joey Chestnut up himself.
That's a good point.
He's done it how many times in the past?
True.
I mean, that dude is literally, like, the science behind him is just unbelievable. His jaws are bigger, Joey jaws. Yeah. His jaws are bigger. His stomach capacity is ridiculous. He trains. I mean, gosh, the dude, like, these guys train for this stuff. Like, they're, they probably deserve more flowers than what they get. Yeah, it can be gross for some people. I totally understand that. But, like, these guys are, and women too, they're fascinating, and they're very good at their craft. But I'm gonna side on the numbers. So
fair enough.
We'll see some freak out there that can go up 4 glizzies at one time. There'll be someone comes along. They're just killing 4 glizzies at a hand.
Yeah. Internet's going to have a field day with that one.
I would not go to the event. I'll watch it live, but I don't think I would want to be in that front row of them with the water and the soggy. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. I'll watch it live.
Stand a few rows back. You'd be fine.
I think I got a piece of Joey's spit on my face. Oh, just a piece of fucking soggy bread. No, I'm good.
Just wipe it off and go enjoy Coney Island then, okay?
I might put it in a bag and sell it like that one guy did at Kanye's concert. But anyways, keep it moving. It's the airbag. Did you ever hear about that?
Out of the hat right now. No.
He brought a sandwich bag and collected the air, and it sold for like $10,000.
Good God. So the shit people pay for.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Nate, I don't know how much wrestling you watch nowadays. Me and Billy watch a decent bit of it, and obviously, my dad, and I know you watched it a little bit more back in the day, but it's pretty hot right now. And a couple of matches we got going into Mania here, multi-person matches. Io Sky in a triple threat versus Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and Braun Breaker now in a fatal 4-way. Dirty Dom, Braun Breaker, Penta, and Finn Balor. Between those two, who's more likely to retain their title?
Who's got the titles, to be honest? I don't even know.
Oh, who's got the title? Io Sky as the Women's World Champion, Braun Breaker is the IC Champion.
I'm going.
And bear in mind, do you remember the Steiners?
Oh yeah, is he Rick Steiner's son?
Rick Steiner's kid, Scott's nephew. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
I'm going Breaker, Trevor.
Yeah, I would say him as well. I think Rhea Ripley's going to win it for the women's.
Ooh, I'm going to have a dissenting opinion here and say Io Sky. I think she finally gets her WrestleMania moment, which she has deserved for a while. Rhea's had hers, right? She beat Charlotte a couple years back, and she had one last year as well. had that entrance with Motionless in White, and now I think to me it's Io's time because she's been kind of an afterthought in this whole rivalry too. She's been kind of like pushed to the side.
Yeah, literally.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Very disrespectful shit going on.
Yeah, not good. Not good. But no, I can see where you both are coming from with Braun Breaker. I mean, guy has the best spear in the game. That to me, that it might even be better than Roman Reigns. I think it's number 2 all time, right behind Goldberg. Already
He moves around that ring.
Well,
Wow.
Nate, you had to have seen the video with Speed, right, at the Rumble. I don't know if you saw that
Oh, I'm not sure.
with I Show Speed. No.
No.
Okay, definitely check that out right after because it was the most played moment in Royal Rumble history, and it involved who's now kind of a mid-carder and an influencer. So that's where WWE's at right now.
Yeah, it's very hot right now. It really is. I'm surprised that you think Ron Breaker's got the second best spear with only behind Goldberg, like Edge.
It wasn't the whiplash. The people sold it well. Roman Reigns, I get.
Yeah.
For a while, I had 2A and 2B, Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker, respectively. But now I think
it actually hurts.
Yeah. What I don't like now, and Billy, I know you've been watching the Raws. He gets a little air before he hits the guys. I like it when he, like it when he just straight, just pile drives him into the ground. I think that's.
Yeah. I think another guy deserves a little bit of a shout out. Rhino. Rhino had the spear for a long time.
Oh, the gore. Yes.
Yeah, the gore. Yep. He was a tough son of a gun. Detroit guy. He's still wrestling, I think, a little bit on like the independent.
In the indies, yeah. Making oddball appearances, yeah.
Yeah, he's in his early 50s, but he had quite a run. He was around for 30 years, 25 years.
Oh, he was like 20 when he got an ECW.
Yeah, so he's been 30 years with ECW. Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm. Him and RVD's battles. God, good shit. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go over to the NBA here, and yes, I'm going to talk about my 76ers for a second. Two teams that obviously did not make the playoffs this year, but two teams on seemingly different trajectories. Obviously, the Sixers in kind of a weird spot organizationally, but down in San Antonio, they seem to be building something. More likely to have the higher seed in next year's playoffs between those two. Do you go with the pedigree Sixers who have, they've kind of been there, done that, or do you go with the up-and-coming Spurs?
Man, that's tough.
And I will not be offended if you say Spurs. I will not be offended.
It's tough. The West is so good.
Mm-hmm.
The West is good, but I mean the Spurs are right in the Spurs are right in it without Victor Wembanyama right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're building something pretty special. And I think they're going to get maybe a free agent or two that take them over the top. Right now, Philly's just in cap. They're in just cap
hell.
Yeah. It's
not purgatory anymore. It was purgatory 3 years ago. This is burning fire. Everything's 1,000 degrees. This is hell.
Yeah. The best time to trade Joel Embiid was yesterday for the last 1,000 days in a row.
Correct.
Paul George is podcast P, and he's more into that, and he's made his money, and he's overpaid.
Correct.
God bless Maxey and McCain. They're fantastic young players, but I don't think they're quite enough to take a team yet.
Another thing that went wrong, McCain got hurt.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like
it's awful.
30 games in.
Yeah. And Embiid's coming off another knee surgery. God bless him. It's tough. I think, and the Cavs, they're still going to have a great core. The Boston Celtics are going to have a great core. The Knicks are going to have a great core. Orlando's going to have a great core.
Think the Bucks hang around?
The Bucks are in trouble. I think this might be one of the last years they're honestly – I don't think they're going to contend at all this year. They have a good record, but I don't think that the Bucks are going to do anything.
Gotcha.
I think they might keep still winning, high 40s, low 50 games, somewhere in that range. But I don't think that they have the horses to do anything. I think it's going to be the San Antonio Spurs. They got De'Aaron Fox, Castle, Victor Wembanyama. Chris Paul is probably going to come back for another year, and he's done a great job leadership-wise for them. And there's a couple things they could do. They have draft picks they are a team that you got to watch out. They might go, we want Cooper Flagg. We'll trade you 5 draft picks and take them. Or they can, draft a couple more guys and go get some free agents. Yeah.
God.
Wow.
Yeah, they could. They have enough people. They have enough pieces and picks to possibly do that. But I think it's going to be the Spurs. I'm also going to drop this. This is unrelated to the Spurs and 76ers. If you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, I would give up the picks that I have for Cooper Flagg. Think about
100%.
Give up
100%. I would. Yeah.
I'd give up 5 or 6.
Yeah, you have how many do you have in the next 5 years? You have 20.
20. Yeah.
Give some up. Yeah, give some up to whoever wins the lottery. Go
right.
get Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, and here's why I would do that. Cooper Flagg, I think, is that generational, first of all. Second of all,
same here.
Second of all, they have enough young guys on their team, but some of them are going to need paid. So if you can stagger some of the stars' payments and let the cap keep getting higher, you might be able to keep all of them. But if not, at least you're going to keep most. And that team could run. That team could run together for 10 to 15 years.
And if say you lose a Chet to free agency, you have Cooper Flagg in right behind him.
Right. The other thing about Oklahoma City, it's not a very desirable place free agency wise. They've shown that they have to draft the guys to go there. And that's the way that they are built. So, and similarly with the Spurs too. Like the Spurs get the glue guys, but you know what I mean? They don't get the splash free agents anymore.
Right.
They don't do that. Probably the biggest splash free agent they've had is LaMarcus Aldridge. That was kind of a shock. So I'm sorry to be long-winded and go on a tangent, but I think it's going to be this. I think it's going to be the Spurs. I think they're a team that is on the rise, like you said, Trevor. So unfortunately, sorry to do that to your Sixers, but that's that's
fine. I was honestly going to go the same way because generally one team's going this way, other team's going this way. I go with the team that's going this way.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
if they could just get everybody on the same.
Even though it is a stacked West, the Nuggets will still be there. Lord, I think the Rockets are a flash in the pan, but Lord knows what's going to happen with them. The Thunder are going to be around for a while. We'll see what the hell the Warriors do and the Lakers do next year with, Luka and LeBron likely coming back, right? So I don't know. It literally might just be the concoction of teams that are in the West that might benefit the Sixers in that scenario. But again, one team going this way, other team that way.
Yeah. I'm going to go Spurs though, Trevor. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn it, Billy. I thought you were going to be on my side. You're usually the one to console me.
And we've talked about this.
You're sympathetic to my Sixers. What do you do?
They got to have, I forgot Embiid had knee surgery. I don't know.
No, he said that. He said that right before, he basically quit for the season.
Yeah. This is Paul George. Yeah. I was really excited when you guys signed him. No,
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I really like him. But
I did too.
Maxi's literally fighting the fight by himself.
Yep.
In my opinion.
No, even he got hurt too.
Yeah.
At the time.
It just seems like he gives a shit.
I mean, I'm not. Some of it was mismanagement. A lot of it was bad luck too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it was just plain old bad luck. And the person I feel the worst for, and I've expressed this to several people, even you, Nate, person I feel the worst for is Nick Nurse.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to probably.
He's a phenomenal coach. And he might. Well, if he gets fired, he's going to find a job in a week.
Yep. He's a hell of a coach.
He might go coach the Nuggets. They just fired their coach.
Shocked by that, but that's whatever.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So, but anyway, on to better things. We're going to do a new segment for us. Nate, do you know who Jey Uso is?
Yeah.
You know, he does this, the yeet thing. Okay. So I named a segment after it called Yeet or No Yeet. Basically, if you agree with something, you do the yeet. If you do not agree with it, you do the no yeet. But yeah, we're going to move on to that, Billy, if you want to take us through.
Gotcha. Went longer than okay. Well,
Yeah, that's
Yeet or no yeet.
side note. Jay's gonna win at WrestleMania. I'm just
Oh yeah.
Jay's
Yeah.
gonna win at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He's gonna win the world title. Reflecting still on Buckle Up with the Boys and looking toward the future.
Yep.
Yeet or no yeet? I know it might not be within your abilities, Nate, but we would love to have you back as a full-time co-host on Buckle Up with the Boys. Yeet or no yeet, Drew Billy? I guess that one's for you and me.
Oh, I love him. Like right now, we're at 2:14. It feels like a half hour. I just enjoy.
Oh, I know. Right.
I know he probably wants to go to bed or rest, but eat all day.
Yeah.
I feel better talking to you two in the nicest way possible.
I feel that.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
bright spot of my day.
Yeah, it's been good to be back, but it's just a
I know.
No, I want it. I want it in the worst way, but it's you got to do what you got to do, and I respect you enough that you go do your own ventures. So
yeah.
Those are a little bit more meaningful as well, expressing the stories of however many, probably hundreds of athletes you've written about now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I try to read as much as I can.
Yeah. Very impressive what you do, and it's very seems like it's very fulfilling for you. So
I love it. I love it, man. Appreciate that, guys. I'd say in recent months I've ventured to, and I've done this for a while, but like outside of athletics too. Right now I'm writing a high school band series, for folks in marching band and musical ventures, and I think it's something that those young people deserve praise, and it's tough to hear when they say, we don't get the same praise as athletes. And I'm a jock. I grew up playing sports and I love sports and I'm a sports writer at heart, but it's tough to hear that. So it's been really fulfilling to give those people that spotlight that they deserve, because they work plenty hard in their own craft as well. And they go do amazing things. And the one thing that I'll say about them versus athletes, depending on the sport, is, these folks can play an instrument or sing for 70, 80 years. Some sports you can only do, 20 years, 15 years, if you're lucky. So for them, they got a lifelong passion. And we can be passionate about sports, but people wouldn't like going to watch us play football for very long. I think they'd be quite sick of it if they saw us out there on Sundays. I'll say that. But a lot of people don't get sick of. A lot of people don't get sick of listening to those young people play their instrument and sing and perform. So that's been something that I've added to my repertoire lately for one of my side hustles, and it's been cool. So
Is it under the umbrella of one of your current ventures? Is it something separate?
Yeah, it's one of my part-time gigs. So writing a lot of high school band stories, and it's been really cool to connect with these people and see how talented they are, And,
excellent. Yeah.
I've loved it.
I think it's the heart. It's I've never played an instrument. I'm just fascinated by remembering the notes.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I understand that sometimes they have a sheet, but still, you got to play, you got to act, and also read. And it's just symbols.
Yeah.
Okay. That's impressive.
It's a whole nother.
It is.
It's rocket science to me.
It is
basically.
It is. Because I tried to learn the guitar. That did not happen. Nope.
Yeah.
No patience. I could not.
No. No, it's not just that. It's the coordination, remembering all the notes, and then consistently playing a song for 2 to 10 minutes or whatever it is, and then being able to replicate it for song after song after song after song, or for some of these folks, song after song after song, for hour after hour after hour, for day after day after day, for year after year after year, for decade after decade after decade. Like that's how good some of these people are and how much they love it, and that's just, that's unbelievable. So. Yeah, shout out to musicians out there and singers. Like, they don't get enough love in the world, and music is a huge part of our society and our world. They deserve flowers too. I know this is a sports program, but they deserve the flowers too. So.
No, that's awesome.
Amen to that, my friend.
I love that.
Amen to that. Back to NFL draft talk here real quick. A lot of rumors floating around of, certain teams wanting out of this spot, maybe going into this spot. And I think we're going to see some activity. We're going to see some activity in the first round. I know I didn't project that in my draft dissertation, but I think we see 3 or more trades within the first round, and I think the Steelers are involved in one of them. Yeet or no yeet?
Gonna go yeet there, Trevor.
Yeah, I'm going to go yeet. I think they will be. They have to. If they know what's good for them, they got to move up and get some guys. They've had mixed success doing so.
Correct.
Troy Polamalu is it's a lovely success story we will tell our children, our children's children, and our children's children's children.
Yeah.
But we will
If we're alive by then, yes.
Yeah, we will also tell them about one Devin Bush, and
Oh,
we will have the worst, feeling while doing so.
Lima sweet.
Jury's still out on Broderick Jones too.
Let's get him in the right position this year and see.
I agreed. That's why I said.
But he's not been fantastic. He's not been fantastic. He's the reason that Dan Moore was a Steeler for as long as he was, and now Broderick Jones should probably get a chunk of. Yeah,
needs to do some Lamaze, maybe some therapy. But that being said, I'm at a big old yeet as well. I think we see 3 trades. I don't know how many we'll see very high. Might be more of a back end trade market this year, like it kind of was last year.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, maybe we see the Patriots move. Maybe just get more picks, stockpile guys.
Yeah. Linemen. Yep.
Linemen.
Yeah, they need linemen bad.
Yeah. I hear you. Anyway, yeet or no yeet, a new match was announced for WrestleMania last night in light of Kevin Owens had a severe neck injury that he's dealing with, is officially out of WrestleMania. So that Kevin Owens Randy Orton match is off. And with that, actually, I did want to do something a little unprecedented. Nate, we have a shit list and a yeet list that, I write names down on here that either piss me off or I want to give props to and give gratitude. I did put Kevin Owens on my shit list a few weeks back for, I think it was for the Sami Zayn match at Elimination Chamber. They did like a TLC match and he injured Sami Zayn, and now he's out for a long time. But now figuring out what Kevin Owens had to deal with, neck was basically hanging on by a thread. I want to officially remove him from the shit list. So, Kevin Owens, you are no longer on the Buckle Up with the Boys shit list.
I agree with that.
Don't worry, someone else is going on there tonight. We'll get there. But that being said, the new match, and this involves Billy's favorite wrestler and a wrestler you probably like a lot, Nate, Rey Mysterio, is going to face it's Chad Gable, but he's posing as El Grande Americano right now, a luchador that has a long history in Mexico, was born in the Gulf of America, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of a goofy thing, but nice little rivalry there. But just to see Rey Mysterio wrestle at WrestleMania, yeet or no yeet?
Tears will come out of my eyes. Yeet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeet might be one of his last, if not his last. He's been going for a long time. I'm sure he wants to keep going. He loves it. There's no doubt about that. 30-plus year veteran of wrestling. So
it's like 51 or 52 now.
That's what blew my mind. We talked about that. I'm like, okay, he's still doing 619 at 51.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's kind of nuts, but he's
yeah. It's not even just that. That move isn't even the hardest move. That move's hard. But it's like the jump rope, off the top rope, and then the moonsaults and getting whipped around. It's
Hurricane Rana.
Good grief. Yeah. Crazy.
What going back to Braun Breaker, he also does a Hurricane Rana. It's called the Frankensteiner, where he literally bear in mind he's like 6'6", 250. He does a Hurricane Rana off the top rope. It's ridiculous how it is. But anyway, I did want to see what I did want to see, and I've expressed this to the fans of this podcast. I wanted to see Rey Mysterio versus Penta.
Yes.
2 of the greatest luchadors of all time, number 1 and number 2 in a lot of people's books, perhaps in my book as well. Got to have Eddie Guerrero up there as well.
Yeah.
That would have been the ideal match. Penta's going after the gold, obviously with Braun Breaker and in that 4-way match, but this is a nice substitute just to see Ray get his props.
Yeah.
Moving on to baseball real quick, and I know that this particular outing for him, I'm wearing his jersey right now. Maybe you can see it. There you go, Mr.
Very
Steis.
nice. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Did give up, last I checked, 4 runs, gave up 3 runs in an inning for the first time ever in an MLB uniform, which is kind of astonishing. But I think he's going to rebound, and I think you can pencil in Paul Skeens for the Cy Young Award this year.
I'm going to go Yeet, just because he's a Pirate.
The Pirates fans need something to look forward to. I think this is it.
Yeah.
No Yeet.
Oh.
And I'll say they don't hit for him.
No, he doesn't get wins.
Right. Doesn't get wins. His numbers will be off the charts, but I'll take the field. And I hope Skeens. I love Skeens.
Yeah.
Great dude, great pitcher. But the field is more attractive because the Pirates are just lousy. And
that's a fair point.
And I'll say this too. Derek Shelton mismanages his starting pitching. And when he'll have an opportunity to boost his stats, he'll get pulled. So I think that's another factor to this.
Mismanaging.
Point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. He's worse than Clint Hurdle when it comes to that. That pissed me off with Clint Hurdle, even though
Clint Hurdle did it too. But Derek Shelton,
he was a good man. We actually had a bullpen back then, so that actually made some semblance of sense.
Yeah, imagine that.
Right. Pirates having a bullpen.
Yeah.
Well, all right. You've swayed me. Might be like Zach Wheeler, maybe that Shota Imanaga from the Cubs. He had a very good rookie season last year. Was in contention for Rookie of the Year as well.
Blake Snell from the Dodgers
could be
with a loaded rotation.
I was going to say anyone from that Dodgers rotation. Hell, if Shohei does well enough.
Yeah. You also probably got to think about Corbin Burns with the Arizona Diamondbacks if you're talking NL.
Good point. Yeah.
And then Chris Sale is always a guy that comes to mind as well. So,
yeah, fair enough. Okay. Well, that's all I had for this week's edition of Yeet or No Yeet. Going to move on to my last segment here. On a scale of 1 to 10, are they fucked? And Nate, you'll like this one. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'll just let you run with it.
Oh, Nicolas Cage, yeah.
I had a feeling you might like that, Nader.
Yes.
But yeah, let's keep it lively here. On a scale of 1 to 10, are they fucked? Anyone and everyone that isn't watching Buckle Up with the Boys right
now. There's a lot of things you could be doing with your time, guys.
Yeah.
And
I'll go 8. It's a school night.
Okay. It is a school night. It is 10:38. I get it. We've kind of gone long this week, which is okay.
I'm 11 every
It's warranted. Oh, same here.
Yeah. It's almost 11 on a Tuesday, and it snowed today in Western Pennsylvania and Western New York. So
yeah.
I'll go 2. I'll be light on the people.
Okay.
Long day. Long day.
I'll split the difference and say 5. I was at a 10 earlier, but I get it. It's 10:38.
It's all right.
It's all good. So I did say I was going to put someone back on the shit list, and that someone is the president of the Pirates. Mr. Travis Williams. And I assume you guys know why. News broke this week. Travis Williams and Pirates personnel took down the Clemente Monument in right field in favor of, Sun-Kissed Hard Lemonade. It was an advertisement for an alcoholic beverage. Roberto Clemente Jr. reaches out and say, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Put it back. They put it back. They apologize. Call it an oversight. Call it an honest mistake. Honest mistake, my ass. Travis Williams, you're on my shit list. Horrible handwriting, but he doesn't deserve good handwriting. Anyway, on a scale of 1 to 10, they fucked the Pirates management for taking down the Clemente Monument in right field.
I'm going 10.
Okay.
I'll go 11.
Okay.
11. And
it's sequential. We'll go 12.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. It pains me because Travis Williams is an Elk County native as well.
Oh, no shit.
Yep. So
Not the
really painful to be associated with that at the moment.
Yeah.
I think, and like I said to Trevor last night, you guys are more baseball guys than me. But when I think of Pittsburgh, I think of, like I told Trevor, Steel Curtain. I think of Stargell, but Clemente's kind of like the godfather of the city.
Yeah.
I would argue the most important player in your franchise's history.
Would put you on the map.
Yeah.
In some ways. I mean, he died, during a mission trip, right? He was doing a missionary trip. Just really bad managing. Just distasteful.
Yeah.
Like no one in the meeting brought up, hey, some people might notice this and get a little pissed. Are we sure we want to do this? Nobody said that. They just said, no, we're going to put Sunkist in right field.
As bad as the team is,
bottom line, made money.
I get it.
They don't care about the people.
Well, yeah. Now think of how much you lost in potential merchandise, ticket revenue, and all that good stuff because you alienated, I would say, most of the fan base.
Yep. I mean, it just shows again how terrible they are at treating people. This is a ball club that hasn't signed a free agent to a 2-year deal since 2016. Every free agent that's come to Pittsburgh has signed a 1-year deal.
Yep.
Ivan Nova was the last Pirate to sign a multi-year deal.
That's right. 2016.
They just get piecemeal after piecemeal after cheap deal after cheap deal. They don't treat these guys well. You know, they're getting the guys that are holding on by a thread for the most part, or
Tommy Pham.
You know, Adam Frazier, loyal to Pittsburgh. McCutcheon, God love him, loyal to Pittsburgh. You know, and then everybody else is a has been, or some of them were never was. You know, unfortunately, and some of them are a never will be either. You know, in the major leagues anyway. You know, God love them for getting there, but they're not going to do anything, unfortunately. But yeah, it just shows that that's how they treat people. You know, they can pirate charity either way to the cows come home, but the real OGs understand that this is a bigger thing. And sure, charitable work is commendable, but they just mask everything. They mask how they truly treat people. They mask their feelings on the fans. They mask with marketing. They mask with, you know, PR. They don't care about their tradition. They don't care about anything. This is a money grab, and that's it. They treat it like a small business. They worry about where every nickel is being spent, and you can't run a $1 billion organization like that. You can't do that. You have to be able to cough something up, you know. And if you can't, then get some more investors, please. You can't, then acknowledge you can't do it yourself and say, I will gladly be a minority owner, or I will open this up to multiple minority owners, and we will rise and raise capital and rise our stock and whatever else. But it's just distasteful. They do this to a guy that meant so much to that city for the nearly 20 years that he played. His son is still very active in that community. He shares a name with them, for Pete's sake. You know, they have charity organizations under the Roberto Clemente name and Clemente last name. It's just, how do you even you can't have this crossfire happen. You know, we can get upset that the Dollar Dog night they sold out. Sure, that was terrible in itself too. But like, compared to taking down that 21, it's sickening. It's sickening.
I think what also these guys, and I'm not going after. Fuck it. Actually, I might go after leadership. If the team sucks,
I already kind of did. So.
Yeah. If the play sucks on the field, you have one of the most beautiful parks in all the league, in my opinion.
It's the only reason I go to the games.
Fans look around. There's not much going on the field. The fans are going to scan, and they are going to notice that wasn't there. That's where I'm a little pissed off. Like, you don't realize.
Plus, it's a baseball game. There's a lot of like rest time.
Correct.
You know, there's time in between innings where music's playing, people are going to the bathroom, getting beers, and, guys are warming up on the field. Yeah, you're going to scan around a little bit. Oh, that skyline looks beautiful today. I'm going to take a picture. Or you're going to post it on Snapchat or whatever. Somebody would have had to have noticed, like, Jesus. I don't know. I just don't know where the foresight was in that.
I hope that thousands of dollars that they got or get per game while they had it up there was worth it.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Bullshit. Money grab.
Agreed.
Bullshit.
Agreed.
How about you just spin it? Whatever. I'm going to get hurtful.
You good?
Just move it on.
Okay. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Going to basketball. I alluded to this earlier, but I figured I'd assign a number to it, assign it to one of the segments here. The Nuggets for firing their head coach and not extending their GM. 5 games from the playoffs?
Yep.
What's the deal there? Why not wait till the end of the season? So on a scale of 1 to 10, go ahead. Yeah, that's a 10 too. What do you think, Nate? I don't know that I've seen a head coach get fired this close to the playoffs. I don't think I've ever seen this.
Only if you're not going to the playoffs.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But a team that's actively in the playoffs,
pursuing a champ. Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's very interesting news. There's a player or a couple players that did not jive with Mike Malone anymore. I don't know who it is.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll ever know who it is. We might know in 20 years, but somebody got him fired. I don't think it's Jokic. I don't. I think I'm not going to speculate who I think it is. I think there are a couple people that you can think of with that have egos or are more active with the media and such on that team. I'm going to say 5 because honestly, I didn't think they were going to win it this year anyway. So I don't think they have the 3-point shooting to win. The Rockets they play their tails off. They're a nice team. Oklahoma City's ridiculous. The Lakers are pretty dang good right now. So those are the teams that I think have a pretty good chance in the West. Clippers are probably have a shot too. I wouldn't pick them, but probably have a shot on paper. I think it's a 5. Like, I don't even know if this does or doesn't do anything for them. And long term, I think that hurts them. I think Mike Malone's a great coach. He was one of the longest tenured coaches in basketball, won him a championship, But yeah, this season in this moment in time, I think it's a 5. And it's going to go. And I'm putting it in 5 because it could go either way. This could be, I don't know. There's somebody sitting in the wings that's like, no, we need to do this, and they change the personnel, and that takes them over the hump. Or they are, this goes to a 10, and they just completely peter out, and this is the change of the whole thing, and the Nuggets just go back to being a mediocre franchise, which they've been for many years until mostly recently. So we'll see. I'll put it 5.
Interesting. That's a good way to look at it too. Like, very forward thinking. How the results of this, beg the answer to the question. So I'll still say 7 just for like the severity of it and the fact that you're still going into the playoffs. You still have a shot, even though any team has a puncher's chance, right? Yeah, for sure.
And Jokic is the best player in the world. Like,
that's what I mean. And we even questioned their perimeter shooting and even their perimeter defense and stuff like that when they won the championship. So what's to say history couldn't repeat itself? But yeah, I don't know. To me, it just seems very sudden and
it's weird.
Very weird. The fact that potentially players got him fired as well. We'll probably know potentially about that. Some players probably got him fired. But I don't know. Just very interesting.
Yeah. And to your point, I don't think that they have the perimeter shooting. They got a Russell Westbrook this year. He kind of fills that Bruce Brown void. But the thing is, Bruce Brown shot way better from 3 than Russell Westbrook could dream of shooting.
That's true.
Yeah. They also had Contavious Caldwell-Pope at that point.
Yes.
He was a fantastic 3-and-D guy. He's one of the more underrated, probably underappreciated players in basketball, and I didn't appreciate him enough when he was on the Lakers. But yeah, like Christian Brown, good player, but not a great enough shooter. Russell Westbrook's not a great enough shooter. So that's why I think that they won't win. However, Joker, if he puts up 60, 10, and 10, they're probably going to be in every game because that's what that dude's been up to the last month. He's pretty much putting up like 40, 10, and 10, and put up 60, 10, and 10 and losing. But, yeah, they got a shot just because of him.
Where are you at, Billy, with this?
A 10.
He's a 10?
Yeah.
Okay. 5, 7, and 10. We're very different on these, which
I thought it's just idiotic.
Not a bad thing.
Idiotic.
Yeah, fair
Write
enough.
it out.
A little unprecedented. Yeah. So, the NCAA tournament is come and gone. We did pick the champion correctly on here, Billy. We did pick Florida, and I did pick Florida in quite a few of my brackets. Unfortunately, didn't have the support in the first several rounds to win anything off of it. I think I took third in a winner-take-all pool, so I did pretty good out of like 100 people. So, but still, as it stands, didn't really win anything. But one team that wasn't pissing me off earlier in the tournament because they were just blowing everybody out like they should always do because they get all these one-and-dones that are uber talented and they should just blow everybody out of the water, right? Duke.
Mm-hmm.
What was the ending to that Houston game?
Yeah, in my opinion,
was that bad luck? Was that Duke losing? Was that Houston? The age-old question. I mean, yeah, credit to Houston for not giving up, but a lot of shit had to go wrong for Duke in order for that to happen. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people, how a lot of sports fans are. Oh, that wouldn't have happened under Coach K.
Oh, of course, naturally, yeah.
Yeah. First answer they go to, but on a scale for Duke,
1. John Shire's literally.
Well, I mean, okay.
Do you mean for the future? Because like the future.
No, like just for like ruining people's brackets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then 10 because so many people picked them.
10.
Right.
But I'm going to put a feather in my cap on this, and so nice thing that I've grinned about today for my own egotistical purposes. I picked Houston over Duke in most of my brackets because for this exact reason. Houston has 6-year guys. Houston played in a tougher conference. They are experienced. They've been with Calvin Sampson, who needs a new polo, by the way, in the worst way. And John Shire has had these kids for 6-8 months for the most part. And the ACC was awful this year. This is the worst ACC conference maybe ever. And I think part of it's because they added Stanford and Cal, who aren't even stinking near it, and they added SMU, who stinks at basketball. And then you had Louisville, who came from the abyss of being absolute dog water, and they were the second best team in the conference this year. And then you had North Carolina, who underachieved, and you had Pitt that way underachieved, and you had Virginia Tech that lost transfers, and you had Boston College, who I don't even know if people know that they have a basketball program. And then you had Miami, who had Jim Laurinaiga retire right before the season. And then you had Virginia, who had Tony Bennett retire right before the season. So the ACC didn't do him any favors. And Houston lost 5 games this year, 3 of them in overtime, one of them by 1 possession, and the other one I can't remember. But Houston was tested. 6-year guys, 5-year guys. They had a pedigree with L.J. Cryer, who won a championship at Baylor. Calvin Sampson has coached many teams in March Madness. He's coached like 60 games in March Madness, 50-some-odd games in March Madness. So that's why I picked that. In terms of Duke, I think the youth played a little bit of a part of it. They couldn't get a bucket at the end of the game. They struggled with that. They also got hosed in that Cooper Flag foul, by the way, and I will acknowledge that. Yeah. But I think it was just a lack of Duke. And then Duke played 4 games leading up to that. They didn't even get touched in the tournament.
Yeah. They didn't get tested at all.
And they won the ACC without Cooper Flag.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get touched because everybody in the ACC stinks.
Right.
And that's what went wrong. They had never played a team that played like Houston. I don't know if I've ever seen a team that played harder in college basketball in my life than Houston. They willed their way into these games. They willed their game. They willed their way into them. Mm-hmm. They were not that talented. They just played like a bunch of freaking crazy people. Like, they probably should have won that game last night. They didn't get a shot off the last 2 possessions.
Oh yeah,
And especially in the last one,
last
the last
possession.
possession, they didn't even go to the basket. They were getting overplayed by a mile. All you have to do is back cut or just go by your guy that's hugging you. And they just
They were
dribble
going
around
for the
the
win.
perimeter.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you have two guys that can make a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes free throws. You have two guys. Go to the basket.
Right.
So credit to them. They probably overachieved just because they play their tails off. And Duke just didn't get tested. That's my assessment. I don't know what else to say. Duke is the most talented team this season. There's no doubt. On paper, they're insane. They're insane. They have 3 lottery picks. They have 3 guys that might go top 5.
Yeah.
They're nuts.
I'd say probably a 9. Trevor
9
with Duke. 10 to the.
I was at a 10, but yeah.
Yeah, 10 to the security guard that didn't let Hakeem go on the court when they.
Oh, that was terrible.
Read the situation, and I'm not going to go any further with that because people had a field day with their own feelings towards it. But it's the dream. Come on.
Yeah.
How don't you recognize him? He's 7 foot. You think they just let any 7 foot down there?
Right.
Even be 7 foot in the
I mean, have you seen basketball? I mean, Jesus. Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, good grief.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. And it's not racist. I swear it. This is genuine truthfulness. If you're 7 foot and have an African accent, there's a good chance you play in the NBA. There's a pretty good chance. And if you're in the United States of America at that basketball game, there's a pretty good chance. Even if you don't know who he is, just think about how those facts stack up in your head.
Right.
And then go, let's assess based on that. Rather than, we don't know who the crap you are. You're just a random 7 foot guy with an African accent.
Right.
And
he had Houston
there was a
stuff
resemblance
on.
there?
Yeah, and he had Houston stuff on. That's what's.
And he went there. And he played in the NBA there.
Yeah.
For almost all of his career.
Put him on the map. Yeah.
He won 2 championships in there.
It's bad.
With the Rockets.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. But I go 9 for.
Bad week for these people with treating these OGs like that. Clemente and Akeem the Dream. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it
right.
History
Do
here.
better.
Gotta get better. Yeah.
Do better.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Last one here. Going back to the WWE world. Drew, you saw how the show ended last night. And Nate, you know who Paul Heyman is. Founder of ECW, former manager, well, actually still, quote-unquote, current manager of Roman Reigns. However, CM Punk cashed in a favor that Paul Heyman owed him, and now Paul Heyman is in CM Punk's corner at WrestleMania. And Seth Rollins is also in that match. That match is Rollins, Punk, and Roman Reigns.
Wow.
Yeah, Heyman and Rollins cut a promo last night. Heyman obviously kind of scared shitless, and Rollins physically threatened him. And of course, his allegiance is being tested between him and Roman Reigns, and Punk, and then of course Seth Rollins is after his ass too. On a scale of 1 to 10, are they fucked? Paul Heyman for the pickle that he's in coming into WrestleMania now, in storyline, of course.
10.
Storyline, he's in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's cooked. He's what the kids would say, cooked.
He's that meme that you like to share with.
Oh, I love that meme.
George Washington. We're so cooked. Yeah, he's cooked.
Yeah.
He's
a 10.
I swear, you post that in the Instagram chat at least like 3 times a day. That's
I have an obligatory once a day in my own head, and anytime I share it, even if it's a stretch, I share it these days.
Right.
This is correct. Yes. So I'll type Paul Heyman in here, and then you'll say, yeah.
And there's like 15 different ones that has like, we're cooked, we're so cooked, you're cooked, and it's like I always find the right one, and I through it to find the perfect one.
I love that. He's shared a few in regards to me being in tax season and going through all that bullshit.
Yeah,
and it cheers me up a little bit. One thing I almost forgot to do is there's a certain there's a certain individual coming to Pittsburgh tomorrow doing his first live show, his first night at, if you will, a guy I aspire to be, one Pat McAfee. Unfortunately, not going to be able to attend the show, but for coming to Pittsburgh and kicking off his big night at, whatever it is, tour, live event session, whatever it is, I want to toss Pat McAfee on this heat list. He might, is he on here? No, he's not on here yet. Surprisingly, Pat McAfee is not on this list yet.
Yeah.
And of course, Tone Diggs and false Lou and false Mel Kiper and Ty Schmidt, all those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, the Boston Connor is going to be a fucking problem tomorrow. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I did hear a rumor, just pure rumor, that the Aaron Rodgers deal might go down during that because, Aaron Rodgers friends with McAfee, might be coming to Pittsburgh, might as well just, it fits. It fits a narrative. So,
yeah.
But anyway, that's it. That's all I got for my segments. And thanks for playing along, Nate. I appreciate you adjusting to these new segments this week.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Glad to be a part of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got one more.
One more, and then we're closing shop. All right.
Yes. Yeah. We're almost. Right. Yeah. We're going a little long here.
Yes. Then we're done. All right. Yeah, I'm starting to.
Oh yeah.
Fade out a little bit.
I'm feeling it.
I had to put
I'm
another
pass out as soon
Zinachino
as
in.
this is done.
Yeah. All right. Debate time. We'll try to run through this quick. We appreciate if you stay to this point. But most iconic mixed drink boys.
Oh.
I already have mine in my head, but
I was going to say you're talking to a guy on the bottom of your screen that doesn't really drink anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't. So,
okay.
But
yeah.
Oh man, I would say, man, it depends how. I'd say like Long Island, it's a staple. It's really good in the summer, but like you could also pull it off in the winter. It tastes like an iced tea. It's refreshing, but you can go with a heavy pour or you can go with a light pour, and either way, I think it's just good. So yeah, I think Long Island's one of my favorites.
Hell yeah.
I'm a little old-fashioned when it comes to my drinks, and that's actually going to be my answer as an old-fashioned. I like an old-fashioned. With a rock,
Old-fashioned, whiskey sour.
Good ones.
Yeah.
Tequila Sunrise, I do enjoy. I don't like tequila, like by itself. Tequila shots, can't do them. Even, the salt line, can't do it.
Yeah.
Too many bad nights with that, but I can do a Tequila Sunrise.
Yeah. But I'll go with Jack and Coke as usual.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
It's just simple. But okay, this will get you to, I think, awake a little more. Will Bob Nunning ever sell the Pirates?
No.
Okay.
No. Only if he's forced to.
Okay. Correct.
What causes it, do you think?
It's a cash cow. They got revenue sharing. They got the TV deal. And then they got enough blind people down in Pittsburgh that support him no matter what. So, yeah.
I'm not one of those.
Nope. I haven't been to a game since 2019, and I don't plan on it until he sells the team. So, it's
I only go because I'm right there and the tickets are cheap.
Yeah. Yep. I haven't gone since 2019, and I don't plan to return until he's no longer the owner. I don't want to support him. I'll support the team itself, but I don't want to support that man. So,
I might have to push your wheelchair next time we go to a Pirate game together.
Well, he's luckily like 60, so he'll probably.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. No, I don't think he ever will. But another good one. Best chain restaurant you've ever been to?
Ooh,
there's a lot,
and I'm biased because we're talking Pittsburgh here, but.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go for Manny's. Every time I get in there, I'm just excited.
Good one.
I never have a bad time. And it doesn't matter.
I never have a bad time, but I've had some bad meals there.
Oh, okay.
It's disappointing.
Well, the Erie one's different. Erie
one's different, and that's a big part of it, part of why. So I'm not going to hold the whole chain to that.
Okay.
There was also an action that happened last summer with Permanias that I don't like them as much anymore.
Okay.
And I'll just say it that way because we all know what I'm referencing.
Yes.
But man, I would say in terms of chains, man, that's tough. That's a freaking tough one. I'd say like Texas Roadhouse because you know what you're getting. You know, you get free rolls. The honey butter is good. You know, you might. They finally have an online check-in system. You can kind of
Yes.
RSVP it.
Yeah.
You know, they got good sides. They got good entrees. They got good apps.
Yep.
Drinks are good. You know, there's always a good time. So I'd say Texas Roadhouse is probably mine. And I try to stay away from there because I go there and I spend like $50 because everything's freaking good.
It's easy. It's easy to do. It is.
Yeah.
I always eat too many rolls and then I feel like crap the next day.
Yeah.
It feels great in the moment. The butter just hitting the taste. There's a reason I just did that when you said the rolls.
Yeah.
Last time I went there, Nate, is go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say last time I went there, I almost crashed my car going home because I was so full that I couldn't hardly like stand it. I was so like I was like overheating and so full, and it was raining. I was unwell. Like I just went home and just laid on the couch for 2 hours, and I didn't mutter a word. I just muttered sounds because I just ate like an absolute king. And it was an amazing yet awful experience at the same time.
Answer me this, Nate. The Cheddar's?
Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen?
Yeah. That's a chain, right?
That'd be a chain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with Cheddar's. I've only been there a couple times, but both
pretty good.
It was immaculate. It was
Cheddar's is good.
I think I've had a ribeye and I've had a fillet there. I've had
they're both good
there, and it's a little on the pricey side, sure, but the quality is just top notch. So in terms of quality, yes. The one I always go back to and the one I order from frequently down here, other than Permani's, KFC is one of them. I order from BJ's Restaurant and Brew House a decent bit.
That's a good one too.
Mm-hmm. They got decent food. Reasonable prices too. So I'd say probably those are the top three there.
Last one I got. What is going to be the Pirates' win total this season?
Oh man, I'm glad you didn't ask me 2 weeks ago because I would have overshot it.
I'm at 72.
65.
Okay.
63 and 99.
Okay.
So they don't lose.
Okay.
I think they're going to come just short of winning.
Dude, they're going to sell everybody again.
Okay.
I know.
Like they're going to sell Fam. They might trade Adam Frazier. I mean,
oh god.
I've said this for 2 years. Honestly, though, like, and other than the loyalty thing, that's the one player they will be loyal to forever is McCutchen, you'd think. But honestly, like, if they know it's good for business, they might even trade him. I'm serious. And the reason is, if you're looking at it from a truly return perspective, which they always screw up the return anyway, you probably get something for him. You probably would get something. Yeah. You probably get a couple pitchers or prospects for him. They'll never trade him, and I don't want them to trade him. I'm not advocating for that, but I'm saying, like,
right?
They've traded him before, and you could probably get a couple prospects for him, and he could go be a rotational outfielder, DH for somebody that's in a pennant race, might make the playoffs, and could possibly get a World Series ring. But 63 and 99 is what I'm going with.
65 would it be 97? 65, 97?
Is that what it is? Isn't it 62 and 100 is 162? That's 162 games. So 60 or what would it be?
Yes, 65 and 97.
Is that what it would be? Okay. Yeah. 60
or no, your math is right too. 63 and 99. Like that's mine is 65. I'm at 65.
Okay. Yeah, 63 and 99 is what I'm going with. Last in the NL Central, an improved NL Central. So, so I'm going with.
Trevor, you got some too, or?
I got a couple for you. And our Buckle Up with the Boys Be a Man question of the week. We get into some deep shit on here, Nate, and why I do it at the end of the show, I don't know, but
sorry,
it's kind of how I do it. What is the best piece of sports memorabilia you own or you want to own? Because I know, Billy, you're a collector. I'm starting to kind of get back into that, and I have a couple things that I could list off for you.
I'd say that photo with Rodman.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I'm good with that. I can get all these autos of whoever, but just getting to meet him.
That's cool.
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was high off his ass, but
sure.
It was a good time. Sorry, Nate.
No, that's cool. I didn't realize you got a photo with him. I didn't.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think I've thought about that enough. Man, I'm going to ponder this, and I'm probably going to say something now, and then I'm going to think about it later and say no. One that comes to mind is the photo I have with Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
Love him or hate him. It's just cool to meet someone that's at his, at the apex of his craft at the moment. It has been for a while and probably still will be for at least another decade or a decade and a half in all likelihood. Yeah, that's probably one of them. I'd also say, man, that's tough. I have a very vast, Pirates collection. I'd say the whole thing. I for a while I had almost every bobblehead giveaway and figurine giveaway for maybe 15 years, 10 years, in baseball. So I would just say that entire Pirates collection that I have. It's pretty drastic. I got a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'd say those are probably my top few. One thing I'm bummed about, I'm going to miss an opportunity to meet Fred Biletnikoff, who the Biletnikoff Wide Receiver Award for college is named after him, and he's an Erie native. I'm going to be missing him. I was supposed to see him in October or November of last year, and he had to cancel. And then he's coming in May this year, but I'm going to be out of the state at that time, so I'm going to miss him. So I'm very bummed that I'm going to miss him, especially him being in his early to mid 80s. It's probably something I won't get a chance to ever do again, just because of his sheer age and stuff like that. So I'm very disappointed by that. But Stephen A. Smith picture, meeting him, having his autograph in my book, his memoir book that I have, those would probably be my top. So
Weirdly, these are both non-Steelers ones. You'd think I'd collect a lot of Steelers stuff, but yeah, two of the biggest ones that I have a framed poster autographed by Brian Giles and Jason Kendall.
Nice.
It's hanging in the bedroom. It's not, it's not out here. I kind of keep, you can kind of see back here. It's a lot of movie nerd shit. And then another thing, this isn't really one with a whole lot of dollar value, but a lot of sentimental value. I still have the ticket stub in a frame from my first ever hockey game that I went to.
Oh, that's sweet.
Along with, it's framed with the front of the program that was on that night. My dad had that frame for me, so that's
awesome.
Yeah,
love that.
And yes, it's the Sabres, but it's
it's still
someday
a lot of sentimental value there. Yeah, you might be pushing my wheelchair by that point, but
we'll see. How can you be that bad for that long in a sport like hockey that has,
I don't know,
has a process like they do? The turnover of good teams to bad teams usually is pretty quick. But
right.
How for the Sabres.
And I will say another one. Billy sold it to me. That Pat Farmuth auto.
Yeah, and Heath
autograph card. Yeah. And Heath. Yeah. Honestly, the Heath.
Wow.
One of my favorite Steelers, Heath Miller.
Yeah.
Last one here. Buckle up with the boys. Be a man question of the week. Something that's I think appropriate, and I know it's been appropriate in our friend group, Nate. So I figured I'd ask it to you. How do you handle transitional periods in your life?
Ooh. Yeah.
I know it's a doozy, and I know it'll make you think a little bit, but
give me an exit. What are we?
Transitioning jobs like you, life events, getting married, having a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Graduating college,
He throws in these fucking nuggets, Nate, and
that's a tough one.
It's good.
It's, if you asked me 5 years ago, not well, not very well at all.
Sure.
I didn't transition that well out of college to, the real world. And then, but I think once I went back to grad school, I transitioned and had some maturity at that point. But yeah, I'd say now, with a lot of prayer and a lot of thought, you don't try to just act with emotion. It's good to bring some emotion and enthusiasm in what you do, but you don't try to make every decision with emotion.
Sure.
Sometimes you just try to break it down into the sheer transaction that it is. So I would say through a lot of prayer and a lot of assessment, you have to, and through prayer comes that assessment. So I would say, probably over the last year, that would be probably one of my biggest transformations and something I'm probably most proud of. So a lot of prayer and a lot of, thought. So that would be mine. I'd say there's still weaknesses in that for me. Watching other people transform is tough, and it's not that I'm not proud of them. It's just sometimes I covet what they have. It's just the nature of it. Late 20s are a tough time. Billy, you're at a different stage. You have a house and a wife, and I don't. And
Don't get me teary-eyed now.
Yeah, and Dinzy does not either. And some of our friends have children, and none of us do, and hopefully we all do at some point. But yeah, I think it depends on the per life event, but I think going to prayer is the best thing you could really do, and then just assess it at the surface level and realize this is a transaction most of the time, and just go with it like that. So.
Some people my age have children. I still am a child by the fact that Star Wars and Marvel posters back here, a lot of Spider-Man, a lot of Iron Man, and all that. No, good thoughts, Nate. Good thoughts, especially on the prayer aspect of it. I know that's been a transformational thing for you, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you get it confirmed. What is that, like a month? Something like that?
11 days.
Wow.
11 days? Really?
11 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to get up there. That's on, what is that, Saturday?
Yeah. It's a late one. It's at like 8:30 p.m.
Oh, shit. Okay. I was going to say WrestleMania's then, but I'm going to miss WrestleMania for that. That's
no, it's all right. It's not the end of the world, guys. It's only the beginning of me in the church. Church is,
that's fair.
Luckily, it's a institute that's not going anywhere. So,
fair enough.
This is just the beginning of me entering. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I can do, but we'll talk about that after the fact. I'd tell you the last transitional period that I had in my life was honestly moving out of my parents' house post-COVID, getting into the new job down in Pittsburgh here, moving out on my own. I didn't handle it perfectly well. I still kind of lived the prototypical bachelor lifestyle, if you will. Had a lot of free time, played a lot of video games, drank a lot of beer, watched a lot of football, normal stuff that a guy with, I don't want to say my upbringing, but a guy with the habits that I have, that's kind of what I did. And, just with a lot of the people around me entering transitional periods too, it's made me reflect on the fact that maybe I need to get to that too. Or maybe I just need to be patient. But it's something that, like you said, Nate, needs to be evaluated internally. Need to talk to people about it. And honestly, therapy has helped immensely with that. It's given me, I don't want to say clarity, not yet, but it's given me a lot of perspective and a lot of tools to be able to maybe handle that next transitional period. So I'll have another answer for you, maybe in like a year or so.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
As time changes, that answer is going to change for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. See, he does this, and it gets me thinking. I'd say probably what? Well, I graduated. You graduated in the summer or the spring, Nate, right? In 19.
Yep.
I was in December. So I didn't realize at the time, holy shit, I got to get a job. COVID hits. Basically was learning out of my car. I told Trevor that story. I had no cell service at the house. So I had to make my phone calls up at the St. Mary's Cemetery. Shout out to the Circle. Spent like 6 hours in that circle. Found myself in that. It's weird. But anyways, but definitely the transition to Buffalo. Yeah, that was, and we had that interview. Learned a lot about myself and seeing all the walks of life and just appreciating, what we're blessed with in Elk County. So, because the world's an ugly place if you let it be ugly to you. Yep. So, be kind to people. I struggle with that at times, but I'm transitioning through that now in my stage. You don't have to tell everybody to F off. Maybe give a helping hand instead. Yeah. That's my problem. We get in these debates. But no, you two, Trevor, anything else?
That's it, buddy.
That was good shit. It's always good shit.
Yeah, and just before you give your remarks, Billy, wanted to thank Nate for coming on, spending a few hours with us.
Yeah, glad to be on.
Yeah, I'm glad you stayed on longer than even I anticipated. But it's always still literally when me and Nate get together, this is all we do, and we'll do it for hours on end without even realizing the time that went by.
Yep.
And it's something that I'll always treasure in my life, and I look forward to having these types of conversations still, but even some more important conversations down the road. So thank you, Nate, for joining us.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree more with that. And, appreciate both you guys and the conversations we've shared and the ones to come. It's going to be great.
Yeah. No, these two guys have helped me blossom as a better person. I know you sometimes don't see it on screen, but our conversations with Trevor, my conversations with Nate, Nate gave me the confidence to try this, and I'm not going to get emotional. I told these guys I'm not going to cry. I'll cry after we're done here, and it's at 3:10 mark. I don't want to be too long-winded, but I would have never met Trevor if it wasn't for Nate, and to come back on here after a year and nothing's really changed. We're still flowing. It's not easy to talk for 3 hours, people. I'm going to be honest, and these guys make it easy, and the knowledge that they bring makes it rejuvenating every week. Like I said before, if it wasn't for these two, probably wouldn't be here. Probably I was getting burned out. And that's not the people before. It's just, it wasn't fun. And these guys made it fun again. So appreciate the guests, the journey with these two, with the prior co-host, to everybody out there. I kind of labeled all the guests that came on, but anything else for the folks, guys, before we sign off?
No, just thanks for watching, and so glad to come back on for this episode, and congratulations on 100 episodes. Pretty great milestone, and shows a lot of work and a lot of time that's been put in. So credit to you guys for sure.
I appreciate it. Yeah. No.
Hope there's 100 more, and then 100 more after that, and then 100 more after that, and we deliver banger after banger after banger.
Yes. No. But as always, have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe out there. God bless. This was another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys with your host, DB, host Trevor Dinsmore, and special guest, ex-co-host, Nate, friend of the program, and has been a great friend for, God, we've known each other there since third grade basketball. So
third or fourth grade for sure. Yeah.
And Nate was a baller. He's still a baller. I bet you could lay it down on the hardwood, but
I don't know about that.
That's all right. But I appreciate everybody. We'll be back next Wednesday, April 16th instead of Tuesday at 8:00. But we appreciate everybody as always. All right, let me just get us signed off here.